following is a presentation of the Dragon Sports Network.
You're looking live at Paul H. Muse Field at David Carpenter Stadium, where tonight perennial power Junction City plays host to 7-2A Foreman as they open Class 2A play. I'm Jacob Pump for the Dragon Sports Network, and I'm excited to be atop the Emerson Brewer press box here in the border town. And joining me is Wayne Pumford. And I tell you what, Wayne, we've got a Junction City team coming in off a big win in the northern part of the county last week, 41-6 victors over Smackover. You've got a Foreman team coming in, kind of licking their wounds a little bit, kind of backs against the wall at 0-2. Something's got to give tonight. Should be a good one.
And I agree with you wholeheartedly on what you said about Foreman. Their backs are against the wall. They opened up with Idabel, Oklahoma, and from all indications, a very good team. Then come back, had Genoa Central, and according to what we were told, kind of overlooked Genoa looking toward tonight. Plus, they didn't have their full team, and they ended up being upset. So a lot of people look at their record and say, okay, forget about Foreman. But Foreman is still one of the teams, until they show otherwise, that you got to deal with in AA this year. And, of course, tonight is Junction City's first, like you said, AA opponent of the year, the Gators. So it's a good indication for both teams. For Foreman, how you gonna look? You know, this is a pride game. Yeah, it don't hurt you in conference, all of that, but it's still a pride game. For Junction City, Coach Smith had said when we get everybody back, or everybody that we can get back, we have them back, and we can get a few practices in, they'll be ready to get going. Well, sure enough, that happened. They got everybody back. They took it to Smackover. Now, Smackover, granted, having some problems of their own, but took it to them pretty good and ended up winning the game 41-6. Tonight, let's see what the Dragons can do. Can they keep that momentum going, keep getting better? You know, there's a couple of areas they need to work on. If they can do that and get some things straightened out, it looks good going into the bye week.
Yeah, you're right. It will be a bye week next week, as previously scheduled. Would have been Junction City and Haynesville, and what many think would have really been a really good ball game.
Oh, yes.
But due to the stipulations set forth by the governor in Louisiana, that game will not be played. So Junction City will have one of those early season byes. And in a year like this year that we're facing, that might not be a bad thing.
Well,
it might not be a bad thing.
You are correct. Coach Smith, I asked him on the coach's show on game night, Coach, 2 byes in a 3-week period, how's that going to affect? How do you feel about it? And his exact words, Jacob, any other year I would not be happy. You know, we would have had our full camp. We'd have got started. I feel like we'd have been on a good roll. I'd want to play some ball. But he said, Wayne, this year with all that's happened, and he kind of paused and he looked over at me. He goes, I'm glad we got them. And, yeah, it is. It's a good time to have them because you got to figure out who you're going to have to play, Jacob, to be available for you. Because when you come out of that second bye, let's be honest, it's your whole season right there. Fordyce is staring you right in the eyes.
Yeah, you're right, and that's obviously one that's been circled on the calendar ever since the schedules were released. A couple of the big storylines coming into this one for Junction City, I believe it's going to go as the trenches go. Junction City's had real good line play on both the offensive and defensive sides of the football. That was very evident last week against Smackover. And for Foreman, one of the things we're looking at is to see if Keontae Oglesby is going to be active for the Gators tonight. Definitely somebody that's going to get that offense going if he's available. If not, they're going to rely on Javon Allen a lot. And then defensively, we just talked about Junction City offensive and defensive lines. They're going to have their hands full tonight. You got a guy named Chris Haywood, all-state performer last year. He had 80-plus tackles, 50 of which were tackles for loss, also recorded 11 sacks. So definitely going to be a force there on the end for the Junction City offensive line to have to deal with. Just about 3.5 until kickoff. Captains are making their way to the middle of the field. Foreman getting set to go into the south end zone. Junction City behind the sign waiting to enter. We're going to step aside for 60 seconds. When we come back, it'll be the 5th meeting all time between these two programs, the Dragons and the Gators, back in 60 on the Dragon Sports Network. week 2 of the Arkansas high school football season, and we're live from Junction City as tonight at Paul H. Muse Field at David Carpenter Stadium. Class 2A number 3 Junction City, Class 2A number 11 Foreman set to tangle here. Be the third game of the season for both teams. Gators enter at 0-2, a pair of 28-6 losses to start the year. Junction City comes in at 1-1 after playing a pair of familiar Class 3A foes, taking a 20-14 loss to Camden Harmony Grove and then knocking down Smackover last week at Smackover. 41-6 was the final in that one. As we mentioned before the break, 5th meeting all time between these two teams. Junction City's played some important games against Foreman, you could say. They shut out the Gators in their first 2 meetings back in 79 and 80 by a combined 49 points. And then in 2001, the Dragons picked up their first ever road playoff win with a 34-16 decision. Many remember that one as the Kevin Payne game. Had a lot of big plays in that one, including the fumble return that Wayne, as you could say, probably turned the tide in that one. And then in 2018, these two teams met in Foreman in a highly anticipated matchup. Junction City came away 40-20 victors on their way to playing in the Class 2A state championship game.
Yes, and of course the Dragons went on to win that one. But Jacob, going back to that 2001 Kevin Payne, 96 yards on that fumble return. I remember it like it was yesterday. It's hard to believe it's been 19 years. But that game was pivotal because that was the first time we ever won on the road. We were favored to lose that game decidedly, and a big win for Junction City, and that propelled us all the way to our first ever state semifinal.
Not a playoff meeting tonight, but definitely a important game for both teams. It could very well determine the fate of the season. As we mentioned, Junction City is going to have 2 byes in a 3-week span, so they'll have an opportunity to catch their breath before matching up with Fordyce to start things off in 8-2A play. And Foreman looking to find the win column for the first time this season. The Gators will have the football first. And back deep will be Kemp and Powell. Football's teed up, and we are ready to go. Going to be the cross kick, fielded at about the 25-yard line, and down is the return man. Slipping down was Powell, so that's where Foreman will have it. First down and 10, as we see from the Gator offense for the first time tonight.
And Jacob, you know, we say this a lot. We're going to say it again. You want to see your defense come out and immediately set the tone of the game as far as they go and get that offense the ball, and let's see what they can do.
It was good to see Tate Barnett and Cam Torrance both back in action last week. They're on the field, and joining Torrance in the linebacker position will be Chance Rowland. And then obviously that formidable front there for Junction City. Christopher Norman, a sophomore who's starting to definitely make his presence felt. Had a really good game last week against Smackover. And here come the Gators, going to keep it in tight and right up the middle. It's going to be a solid first down run. Ball gets across the 35 up to the 37-yard line, and that's going to be Javon Allen, first carry of the night for Foreman.
Good little push there by the Gator offensive line, and Allen, of course, kind of squeezing through there, and he come up just short, Jacob. I thought he had the first down too, but he's right on the marker. I mean, I guess if you're Foreman, that's how you want to start it.
That is. A 9+ yard gain on the first play from scrimmage. Under 11.5 to play here in the first quarter. Break the huddle, have a single receiver to the far side of the field. And I don't know if this is by design, but Foreman breaking the huddle with about 10 seconds on the play clock. In no hurry. Junction City can't score if they don't have the football. Under center, going to keep it in tight. Again, going to go to Allen. He's got the first down, a lot more. Trudging up to around the midfield stripe, going to mark him down, I believe, at the 49-yard line. So 2 handoffs to Allen. It's a first down, new set of downs, and they're getting close to Dragon territory.
And Jacob, let's talk about real quick that Foreman offensive line. That's quite a bit of meat up there looking at them, and I mean they're getting a good little push. They're popping the hole. Plus, it's hard to see the back because they're in tight and they're popping into that line before you can really adjust. And so far, they picked up, about 17 yards on 2 plays.
285, 300, 280. That's some of the weights there on that offensive line for the Gators. They've won the battle so far. Torrance in there quickly. Several Dragons in there right after. And on the carry for the Gators, Tyrance Marks getting his number called for the first time tonight. Marks listed as a freshman on the roster, so playing up the high school team, also listed as an athlete, so they may try to use him in multiple ways tonight.
Well, if you're up as a freshman already in the regular season, they expect you to be something special, there's no doubt.
Gators break the huddle. It'll be 2nd down and 8, ball at midfield. Fowler, the quarterback, he's under center. And they're going to give to Marks again, bouncing around up through the hole. And he's wrapped up and brought down from behind by a Rowland. So to bring up the first 3rd down of the evening for the Gators. They move into Dragon territory. Ball will be spotted at the 40, just inside the 47-yard line. We hit the 9.5-minute mark of the first quarter. And so by design, Wayne, they're taking just about as much time as they can off that play clock before they take a snap. And I mean, if this continues, this could end up being a 6-7 minute drive to start the game.
And I agree, because Jacob, a while ago, they busted the huddle with about 10 seconds left. They're doing it again. And real quick, now they're not doing it here. Well, yeah, they are. They're setting up power to the right side, which gives them 2 more blockers.
And again, that's going to go to, not sure who the ball carrier was. I believe that might have been Marks again. And getting a little chippy there here early.
Yes, it is.
When you're talking about it, you're looking at they split a wide receiver out to the far side of the field, and you're looking at anywhere from 17, 18 guys in the box, right up there near the line of scrimmage.
Yep. Absolutely, and Jacob, like I said, they're setting up power to that side too, and you have to respect it because, hey, they could come that way, but they can also, if they see that you're adjusting to that, they're popping it off to tackle going back to the left, and that's what they did on this last play, which picked up about, I'd say 6-7 yards. That's 4th, and let's call it a long 3.
They're going to have to hurry. 3 on the play clock.
Yep, 2.
And I don't believe
they're not going to make
it. Actually, they're going to have to call a timeout first. And Foreman's going to call a timeout. We're going to step aside with them. 8:16 to play, first quarter action. Gators are driving. They face a 4th and 3. We're back in 30 on the Dragon Sports Network. Out of the timeout, 8:16 to play, first quarter action. The Gators facing a 4th down and 3. It's been, you probably hear the word methodical tossed around often here on the Dragon Sports Network, but it probably hasn't described anything as well as what we're seeing tonight, Wayne. Been a methodical approach. They've been breaking the huddle with about 10 on the play clock. Obviously, no game clock running now after the timeout, but we'll see if the Gators can keep the drive alive. 4th down and 3, power to the right. They actually got a lineman in as a fullback position. They're going to give straight ahead. They've got the first. Actually, he's going to be at the chains, I believe. If they give him the 40, he's got the first. I believe that's where they're going to mark him forward progression.
Yeah,
so 4th and 3, will use timeout. That's going to keep the drive going, and we're going to be around probably 7:35 before the next snap. And so right now, if this was the game plan for the Gators, they've been executing it basically to perfection.
Well, it appears it's going to be. They're running that power, Jacob, to the right, and they're living with it. I mean, they used it right there to get the first down. But also, and again, they're busting the line with about 18 on the clock and lining up. And again, the same formation that you see.
And again, it's going to be just a give over to the right side. Hard running there. That's Landon Holman, the senior fullback, also listed as an inside linebacker and defensive lineman. And so far right now, Junction City getting beat up there on the defensive front. Clock's going to move under 7:20. And like I said, the Gators in no hurry so far in this one. Ball at the 35-yard line. Foreman moving right to left. Maroon helmets, white jerseys, gray pants. Junction City decked out in their all purple. Second down, we'll call it a long 5 here from atop the Emerson Brewer press box. Again, they're going to line up power left. In the backfield is, I believe that's Powell. He's going to break loose. Another big run there from Powell. First time we've seen him carry since the second play of the game. Fresh legs there, and he moves inside the red zone down to just inside the 18-yard line. And so it's been power right, power left for the Gators, and it's worked pretty well so far tonight, Wayne.
Well, it's giving them a little hide and seek too. Like I said, when you
keeping them in tight, yeah,
keeping them in tight, so it's hard to pick up that back immediately. And it's a good little move by Foreman. Now the thing is, and I'll finish it up after this play.
One thing you'll notice is watch how the quarterback will hand the ball off if he's giving it to the guy behind him, which that's Powell behind. And he's going to get the call here, going to move left. Flag on the play. Got to be a hold coming from that direction. And I believe it might be.
A good point, Jacob, with the talking about how he's handing the ball off. He's handing it off low, which is also hard to pick up when you're trying to see through two backs. And that's what I'm calling them, that they got up tight on the line. But now one thing about this offense, and that's what I was going to mention a while ago, in 18, Foreman did not believe in passing at all.
No, they didn't.
And once they got behind, they had trouble catching up, and they never did. With this offense, when you get a penalty like this, which is going to put you with a 1st and 20 situation, and you end up falling behind possibly by this, it's very difficult to stay with this offense. But you don't really have no choice because this is all they work on apparently. They didn't even thought about a pass.
They sprint one receiver out in each formation, but
and that's it.
That may be, for all intents and purposes, somebody just to bring the play into the huddle.
Yep.
6:21 coming off the penalty, 1st and 20. And they're going to give to, I believe that is Allen. He's going to blast forward along the right side. Good read there by the Junction City linebackers. Torrance in there. I believe Barnett in on the stop. Barnett appears to be shaken up. And they're going to call a injury timeout. We're going to step aside with them. 6:03 to play, first quarter action. Back in 30 on the Dragon Sports Network. Clock moves under 5:50, and if you've tuned in to watch the Dragon offense, you haven't missed anything. It's been all Foreman here on the offensive side of the football, their first drive of the game, and they've had it for over just about nearing 6.5 minutes. They're going to pitch it this time, and good pursuit there from Torrance. Several other Dragons in there to clean things up. Well done there on that left side of that Dragon defensive line, putting pressure. And Marks didn't really have anywhere to go.
Good reads by the Dragons. Plus, they done had a chance to see this just a little bit, see how when they bring it over there, how they're going to block, how the back's going to try to make a move. And they read it well, picked it up well. Great pursuit and very minimal gain there, Jacob.
11th play of the drive coming. That was the first time they actually pitched it out wide rather than giving it off. Power right, power left. I'm sure it's probably a little bit more of a complex play call than that, but from up here, that's basically what it is, and it's worked well for them so far. Now they're going to change things up. They're going to get in the shotgun, high snap, pursued Barnett. Fowler's going to have to throw on the run, slings it up to the right side, and good coverage out there, threw it out of bounds. But that may be one reason why they keep it in tight. Bad snap there, and that's going to bring up a 4th down to stop the clock with 4:46 to play here in the first quarter. First drive of the game for Foreman.
And no doubt, Jacob, they will go for it here. I mean, I don't know what kind of kicking game they got, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to go out on a limb and say there ain't nobody in, I believe it's Little River County, that's going to boot it that far.
Well, I don't think anybody in Class 2A is going to nail one from 40.
Yeah, no, I don't either. So no doubt they're going to go here.
Well, he got some pretty good legs in Little River County. They're going to throw out of the Fowler. He's running around. He's going to have to sling it. He's got a man, and that's close. Touchdown. Foreman on 4th and 14. Fowler, they throw in a trip set. He's under center, pressured immediately, throws on the run, delivers a strike. Not sure who caught it. I believe out there on the far side of the field, they're congratulating him. It's hard to see. That's 12. Well done there. Brady Jackson, the senior, found himself open. Got inside the safety around the corner. Like I said, Fowler on the run. Delivered a strike, and it's 6-0 Foreman. Following a drive that took up 7 minutes and 19 seconds of first quarter action. 2-point try. They're going to go back, keep it in tight. And a quick move there from Junction City, and that's going to make it a little bit easier for the Gators here.
Well, Jake, let me say this.
Actually, they're going to call it on Foreman, so that's going to help Junction
Whoa,
City. So
okay.
Good job there, Jakarian Barnett. He saw movement. He reacted. That's what you're told to do.
Well, first of all, a great throw, like you said, on the run. Great throw. And the pass was great. It went between two Dragons, and it's hard to believe that on 4th and 18, you know, you let a guy get just enough room to make the catch. You figured they'd have everything shut down.
21-yard strike, Fowler to Jackson. That's the difference so far here in this one. The Gators, after the penalty, the false start penalty, they're going to line up and go for 2. And again, they're going to break the huddle quickly, keep it in tight. Probably going to be some type of delay. And they were going to have to hurry again, so it's going to be a delay of game. They come out a little bit different. Looked like it might have been the old hideaway play, where you really don't know where the ball's going as it's snapped. And now they're going to back them up even more. So a 2-point try coming from the, I believe, the 13-yard line.
Yep.
Back-to-back 5-yard penalties. It's probably the most action a 2-point try I've seen in quite some time here in the border town.
Indeed.
Break the huddle, going to keep it in tight. Definitely got to look for some trickeration here. Allen in the backfield. They're going to throw out of the, and he's hit immediately. Good pressure there, Tate Barnett. Pass falls incomplete. Timeout on the field, 4:41 to play, first quarter action. Foreman 6, Junction City 0. The Dragon offense up next when we come back. Back in 30 on the DSN. It was 4th down and 17, and then it resulted in a 21-yard strike, Fowler to Jackson, and that is the difference here early on in this one. 6-0 Foreman on top of Junction City. Both teams opening up Class 2A play here tonight in the border town. Going to be a squib kick right up the middle, going to be fielded. I believe that's Norman. He's going to have a pretty good return here. He's going to get up near the 50-yard line. Good job right there from Christopher Norman. A little bit of a squib kick, and it's going to be excellent field position for Gabe Richard and company.
Well, Jacob, you said it, 7 minutes, 19 seconds, and that's probably going to be, I'm going to go ahead and say, that's probably going to be the order of things tonight for Foreman. So time of possession going to be important. And Junction City, with that type of offense, now Foreman showed they can throw, but you figure a few adjustments, a little more pressure, you make it stop at.
Dragons have come out in the pistol here for their first offensive play of the game. In motion, that's DeBose. They're going to fake to him. They're going to give to Ivory. Ivory going to work left side. Stiff arms a man as he gets near the first down marker. Going to be just shy of the 40-yard line. Bring up a 2nd down and 1. That's a 9-yard tote there from A.J. Ivory. I tell you what, that's just a little bit of a shorter run than he had the first time he touched it last week in Smackover. I say a little bit, 40 yards less. Good to see Ivory in the backfield for the Dragons tonight. Richard looks left. Gets the snap. Ivory gets the call. He'll work right side. He's got the first down as he's tripped up around the legs. Moves down inside the 40. Mark him at the 37. So Junction City bang plays here on rushes by Ivory. And they're well into Gator territory.
And Coach Thompson not wasting no time calling those plays. Junction City is definitely wanting a little bit of an up-tempo here. I don't believe has huddled yet since the initial huddle when they took possession.
Rashard makes a change at the line of scrimmage, moves Jamal Johnson from his right to his left, and now they're going to the toss pitch to DeBose. He gets hit hard, but he's going to have a pretty good gain there. That is going to be considered a pass. So a nice job there. A little bit of a new wrinkle that we haven't seen Junction City use so far this year. Definitely going to use it. It's going to be DeBose. Second down, and we'll call it a long 4. Under 3.5 to play here. First quarter action. Dragons trailing by 6, but they're driving. They give to Johnson. He's met around the line of scrimmage and dropped early. He may have gotten a yard. And now we've got flags on the play.
This is going to be interesting. Some major extracurricular activity after the play.
I believe we got a couple of linemen. It's just a little trench work there. Fellas getting fired up. You like to see the passion, but you don't want to see it result in any type of negative gain for Junction City. And with the way Foreman's clapping, it looks like it's going to be called against the Gators, or excuse me, against the Dragons.
I think it's offsetting.
I think at this stage of the game, we're talking first quarter action here. Junction hadn't had the ball, but for 4 plays, you got to go offsetting.
Yeah, you got to here because the last thing you saw was a Foreman Gator making a move, but I mean.
So offsetting penalties. Third down and 4.
Play.
Out of the pistol, Rashard looks right. He's got twins to the right, and it's going to be a stretch run they're going to give to Johnson. Following a couple of blocks, he's going to pick up the first down as he gets tackled at the 25-yard line. That was a good open field tackle there. Not sure who was the first Gator on the scene, but if he doesn't get to Johnson, like the old special teams coach once told me, he's banging his head off the goal post.
That's it. And Johnson was on his way to doing that if it hadn't been for that tackle.
3:12 to play. Clock stops momentarily to reset the change. Dragons break the huddle. Now here on the first drive, we're going to see the third running back of the night for the Dragons. K.D. Smith, but they're going to throw. That pass is complete to Gilbert. Makes a man miss, still on his feet. And he's going to get down inside the purple zone, inside, I believe, the 10. And a nice pitch and catch there, Rashard to Gilbert. And it results in another first down for Junction City.
Jacob, the passing attack for the Dragons gets going. You get everybody involved. You know, as the season progresses, this offense will be hard to deal with.
And they're going to give to Ivory here on first and goal. A.J. Ivory hard running. I tell you what, A.J. Ivory's a young man that he was a pretty thick-looking back last year, but I want to say he got in the weight room over the offseason. He's got some tree trunks for legs there. He's going to be a tough go week in and week out for opposing defenses.
Indeed, Jacob. And the good thing about the Dragon running attack, you got Ivory. Looks like he's the focal point of it now, the one that's going to carry the bulk of the work. But you got 3 more with him that can go. And
we've got a penalty for Junction City. False start out there, wide receiver. They're going to get Brown on that one. So that's going to back Junction City up. It's the kind of things you can't have happen, especially when you got the momentum in your favor trying to tie the ball game up.
Indeed. And you got a nice little, you started with great field position, but you've worked it inside their 10. You don't want to have these penalties that can cost you.
2:29 to play, first quarter action. Dragons knocking on the door, second and goal from, I believe, the 14-yard line. Going to throw, spot out pass complete to Gilbert. Still on his feet, guns out of one tackle, makes a man miss. Touchdown, Junction City. Gabe Richard, Devontae Gilbert, 13 yards, and it results in 6. Tied ball game here in the border town.
Devontae Gilbert, more moves than a Russian ballet dancer right there, and he gets into the end zone to tie this baby up. And Jacob, a very important extra point, or possible, I'm pretty sure 2-point conversion coming up.
Junction City with an opportunity to take the lead here after Gilbert. That was a good strike there from Richard, but there was a lot of white jerseys in front of Gilbert. He, like you said, put on the old Russian ballet moves, and Junction City, a little miscommunication in the backfield. Richard had to keep it, and then he had nowhere to go. Timeout on the field, 2:23 to play. First quarter action, the Dragons answer. We're tied at 6 here in the border town. Back in 60 on the Dragon Sports Network. Good return there by James Powell, excuse me. And that's one of the things for Junction City is that's a big hit there from Jamal Johnson. But Wayne, we were talking about it in the pregame. If they're able to get to the corner on a corner kick like that, and with it being a line drive, the kickoff team didn't have enough time to get down the field.
No.
That resulted in a pretty good offensive start here for Foreman here for their second offensive drive of the game.
And that's what you don't want, because the Gators, the first drive, if it's any indication, I believe it is, they're not getting in a hurry, number one. Like right now, if you look, they're just kind of standing around looking at the clock.
Yeah.
They're going to line up. That play's probably not going to run till under 10 seconds. And they're going right back to the power, and they're sitting up on the right.
And the give's going to go to Allen. Hard running. He's got several Dragons on his back. Ball hits the turf. It was a late whistle. Dragons are saying they've got it. Foreman comes away with it. That was Allen on the carry. He picked up about 7 yards and then put it on the turf.
And Jacob, one more thing, a lot of shoulder grabbing right now. They're going to have to get low especially on Allen, and bring him down.
2nd down and 3 after a 7-yard run from Allen. He moves the football into Dragon territory. Spotted at the 44-yard line. Foreman moving right to left. We're under 2 minutes to play here, first quarter action. 6-6 is our score if you're just joining us. Week 2 of the Arkansas high school football season. 3rd game for both of these teams. They give to Allen. He bounces around in the backfield. Flags come out from the head official. He's going to be close to the first down. Be interesting to see what the call is.
Holding.
That was a quick flag for a hold, but we'll definitely take it.
And one more thing, talking about this Gator offense, they're in decent territory, good territory. It's going to be 4-down territory more than likely, because they're wanting to control the clock.
Sure, certainly.
And their first drive was, like you said, about 7.5 minutes. Well, 7:19 to be exact. So, kind of want to keep up. I want to keep up with time of possession tonight. Just see how what they're early on, especially see what they're going to try to do.
Well, this drive started with 2:14. And following the penalty, it'll be 2nd down and 14. And again, they're going to get the power back on their side of the field at the 46-yard line. Ball's on the ground, and it is going to be picked up. I believe Fowler was able to jump back on it. So back-to-back miscues, and Junction City defense looking good here as they force the Gators into a 3rd and 15 now. This clock moves under 90 seconds to play here in the first quarter.
Very interesting to see what they're going to try here on 3rd down and 15, Jacob. Do they stay with what they were doing, and try to set up a good 4th down, or do they go to the air again? Because the first time they tried to pass, they went in the gun, and it wasn't successful. Now they're bringing in a receiver. This is like a receiving core coming in right here.
Yeah, it does.
So they're going to try it. I'm curious to see if they're going to try to go from the gun or under center. They're going from under center. We ought to be able to get pressure on them.
And they're going to break the huddle out of the gun.
And you got movement. You got movement on the end, 79.
It's going to be a false start. Several guys were moving. And so that's going to put them even further behind the chains. They bring up a 3rd down and 18 now. So obviously we've seen if we can force them out of the power formations and they have to get into the shotgun, it seems to be a little bit more unfamiliar to them than obviously their base offense.
Indeed, and like you were talking about, if they go under center, with our offensive line, with our defensive line, we should be able to get some pressure on them, and force a hurried pass or maybe get a sack.
They break the huddle this time. The trips formation will line up to the short side of the field. That's the right. They're going to work under center. Fowler scans the defense. Allen behind him. And they're going to throw here. 3rd and 18. Flushed out to the right. Going to throw back across the field, and it's picked off. Jamal Johnson at the 43-yard line. Still on his feet.
He's got some room.
He's across the 40. Down to the 35, and he's going to be run out of bounds at about the 31-yard line. But Jamal Johnson, his 3rd interception in as many games, and he's got the Junction City offense in great field position here with 34 seconds to play in the first quarter.
Jacob, you talked about it. They had to go under center. They're not familiar. One thing I failed to mention, also, if you applying pressure or you can apply some pressure, you can force penalties. Well, you saw what happened there when 79 jumped early. But getting pressure on them under center is going to cause them to have to really think about their passing attack a little bit.
Big opportunity here for Junction City at the tail end of the first quarter. Hard count from Richard, almost got Foreman defensive front to jump. And now they'll throw here on 1st and 10. Slant route, good hard throw, just a little low. Gilbert, he went to his knees to try to scoop it up, but just a tad low, unable to connect there. That would have been a first down. He would have been down had he had to go to the ground to try to get it. That'll stop the clock with 29 seconds.
And I wanted to say this, but they were getting ready to run the play. I looked out to the side where the Twins were set, and they're single cover. You see it now. Now they're going to bring a safety up to kind of help out.
Yeah, but the safety's in tight. Now they're going to give to Ivory. Stretch run. Ivory still on his feet, running hard. He's going to have a solid game.
We got a flag.
And going to be a flag from the far side of the field. Most likely a hold, and that's what it's going to be. Hold on Junction City. So that'll back Junction City up. To the 41-yard line. It's an incomplete pass and a holding penalty, and it's got Junction City well behind the chains here. Second down, we'll call it 20 from atop the Emerson Brewer press box inside the Eldorado Chemical broadcast booth.
You got Gilbert with single coverage again, Jacob.
And he's got a big cushion over there. Going to run slant inside, incomplete. That was actually Brown who had the coverage on the bottom side of the field, but Gilbert was also man coverage as well. Excuse me, that's Frazier. In and out of his hands. Hard throw there from Richard.
You don't want to waste this opportunity here. You really don't.
It's a big third down here.
Big
You got to think
down.
you're somewhat in no man's land here, so you don't need to get the first because you're probably going to have that mentality. We're going to go for it here on 4th, but you don't want to waste the opportunity. Interception from Jamal Johnson gave Junction City excellent field position. And a penalty and 2 incomplete passes. It's got them on 3rd down and 20. And then we get a false start on the left tackle. That's rolling, and that's going to back Junction City up even more. So several miscues for the Dragons here with 17 seconds to play in the first quarter.
And this is, needless to say, this is not what you want to see.
Not at all. Ball now at the 46-yard line of Foreman. Now Richard's going to come out in a wide receiver set. Johnson, he's going to throw over. He's going to roll over to his right, evades one defender, going to throw jump pass on the run, throws it out of bounds.
Oh, man.
And
come on, guys.
Receiver was pushed out of bounds. That was an uncatchable ball regardless, but receiver was thrown off of his route, pushed out of bounds. So Junction City had to go into a little bit of the trickeration portion of the playbook, come away unempty. And here with 11 seconds left, I believe Norman's going to have to punt one away here for the Dragons.
Yep. And a big opportunity goes down the drain.
That's it. Go ahead and mark one off in the missed opportunity column.
Yep.
But if you're Norman here, a good punt, potentially pin the Gators.
Play a little field position.
Could go a long way here for Junction City. Good snap. And then we've got whistles. And the Dragons are false start on Junction City. So it's going to be 4th in the Hardy Mart here for the Dragons here with 8 seconds to play in the first quarter.
Well, wait a minute. Geography. With geography, it's actually going to be the R&D parking lot. They're backing up.
Well, yeah, that's a good
point. I see what you're saying.
They're punting from R&D. First down markers in the parking lot of the Jackpot Bingo. So 8 seconds to play here in the first quarter. Norman with a little less to work with. Actually, a little more to work with. Decent punt. Smith down there covering. Doesn't really take much of a bounce for either team. He gets on it early, and so Foreman will have it 1st and 10 from their own 29-yard line with 1 second to play here in the first quarter.
Yes, you were correct. Hardy Mark, I was thinking, I was wanting to say, they're punting from R&D because of, 4 penalties in the last 30 seconds?
Not one of the finer drives of the season so far. 3 incompletions, 4 penalties. And now Foreman will have their 3rd offensive drive of the game. Final play of the first quarter. Going to keep it in tight. And they're going to give to Allen. Horn blows. That'll do it for the first 12 minutes of play. 6-6 is our score. Junction City and Foreman in a Class 2A tilt. We're back in 60 on the Dragon Sports Network. Welcome back to Junction City. The Dragons 6, the Gators of Foreman 6, set to start the second quarter of action. Junction City had an opportunity there after forcing a turnover. It was Jamal Johnson's third interception of the season. Put it down well into Foreman territory, but the Dragons 3 incompletions and what seemed like a plethora of penalties.
Good work.
Resulted in, hey, you know, 6.5 years of college, you got to come away with something, right?
I agree.
We got the Clean Team Pro scoreboard here. Stuttgart 14, Warren nothing. Fordyce 48, Camden Harmony Grove 7.
Okay, wow.
Ooh.
Somebody up top, I think, picked the Ricebergs tonight, but we'll see. First play from the second quarter. Fowler's going to give to Allen, and he's just going to fall forward. Got it, getting a big push from behind, and that's going to be a first down carry. Going to reset the chains here for the Gators to start second quarter action.
And Jacob, this is just based on what the Gators have been doing, this is just what they've ordered. They got it where they want it right now.
Yes, they do. That's a big stop for them defensively, because if Junction City can go ahead, then it puts a little bit more pressure on their offense to try to keep up. But now they're still what you could call the driver's seat here, running out of that power offense. 9 seconds on the play clock. They're going to keep it in tight once more. Fowler under center, single receiver. And they're going to give to Allen, nowhere to go. Several Dragons in the backfield immediately. He's going to try to make something out of nothing. I believe he may have gotten back to the line of scrimmage.
And it looks like Junction City's sliding a few more people into the box, getting up close, because Foreman likes this tight formation. In fact, wasn't sure. We were calling it power. It was correct to call it power. I checked in with an authority that would know, and it's more like a power power. If it's 3 backs, it's definitely power. If it's 2 backs back there, just the eye. They've been running. Yeah, they've been running 3.
3-back system. And in fact, a couple times they've put in an offensive lineman there at one of those, I guess you can call them a fullback kind of positions.
Yeah.
And here on second down and 9, right up the gut, and he's got running room inside the 30, and the ball, I thought the ball come loose. It did not. He's going to be shy of the red zone, but a big run there for the Gators. They're going to mark him down at the 22. I believe that's going to be a 35-yard run right up the gut. Landon Holman, the senior, and now the Gators knocking on the door of the red zone here to start the second quarter.
Indeed, Jacob. I mean, he did not go 1 inch left or right. That was straight up the gut. And, boy, you talk about giving them some momentum and fire. Now they're sitting in Dragon territory deep.
Dragons on their heels a little bit here. On the outside of the red zone. And good play there from the backside. That's Tate Barnett jumping on the back of Marks. And Marks wasn't able to take him for much of a ride as Barnett wrestled him down. Clock moves under 10 minutes to play here in the first half. Foreman with the football. Their best opportunity here, dating back to their first drive of the contest, which resulted in a 21-yard touchdown pass on 4th and 18. So far, the run by Holman has been the big play of the drive, and Marks nowhere to go. Miscommunication in the backfield, wrestled down. That's Barnett again. Tate in there on the stop. Cam Torrance coming in. Norman was on the scene as well.
And one thing Smith's got them doing now is it looks like they're, I guess you could call it gap because everything's in so tight. But Junction City's just rolling. They're just sending everybody in to try to disrupt when the Gators especially in tight like that and the power. Well, you see now you got 2 plays for negative yards. You got to force them out of what they're wanting to do. You got to shut down their pass. You know, what little bit of passing they've been successful with. They got the touchdown like you said. And they've, again, Jacob, here on 3rd and about 15, and they're calling a timeout. They're bringing in their pass package.
Yeah, they were. 3rd and 13 is what the Gators will be faced with coming out of the timeout. We'll step aside with them back in 30 on the Dragon Sports Network.
Do we?
Out of the timeout, Junction City 6, Foreman 6, but the Gators are knocking on the door. However, they're going to be faced with a 3rd down and 13. I believe with the ball spotted at the 25-yard line of Junction City. Tell you what, Wayne, so far it's been a pretty good one developing. See 2 different types of offenses getting after it. Both defenses have made some big plays. And right now, Junction City trying to hold off a surging Foreman drive here.
Well, it's kind of like a chess match, even though we play checkers mostly. But it's like a chess match here, and you got a 3rd down now. Now you got to make the right move here, and take the momentum and take the opportunity away from Foreman.
They're getting back in the power. And
Flags.
there'll be flags on the play. I believe it's going to be false start.
I believe so.
And so that's going to help out Junction City again. Tell you what, a lot of false start penalties tonight for both teams. And that's going to put them even further back behind the chains. Be a 3rd down, and I believe an 18 coming. Here's that stops the clock with 8:48 remaining here in the first half. Dragons have had the football for less than 3 minutes, but they find themselves tied up at 6 here with the Gators. That's definitely Foreman's MO.
Yeah, like we said a while ago, so far everything is going like they want.
Out of the power, they're going to fake to the back.
And they had to,
on the end. That's Norman. Ball's loose, and it is going to be picked up eventually by Junction City. Flag on the play.
But it should be on Foreman.
It should be on Foreman. It should be Junction City football. Big-time turnover for the Dragons, the 2nd time.
Yeah, decline.
Hold on, Foreman, decline, and Junction City's got it. 1st down and 10 from their own 40.
Jacob, again, they go under center to try to pass. They had to hurry because they could run the clock down under 10 again. But this time, by the time they got set to take the snap and to get ready, to try a pass, the clock was already at 1, so they had to do a quick snap. And Junction City, with the pressure, gets the ball. So a big stand by the defense here. Now you want to say, Richard, this offense get rolling.
There's a big opportunity here for Junction City. Go ahead and take the lead and hopefully begin to distance themselves here from Foreman.
And like you said, put pressure on their offense.
Gabe in the pistol. He's going to give to Ivory. Ivory's going to work right side. He's met at the line of scrimmage. Nowhere to go. Good pursuit out there from the Gator defense, especially coming up from the secondary. And so no gain there from Ivory. Clock moves under 8.5 to play here in the first half. It'll be 2nd down and 10 for Junction from the 40-yard line.
Foreman reacting very quickly to the play. Opportunity here with a little misdirection or a little counter could throw them off. You could get a quick strike possibly.
Dragons break the huddle. They're going to go empty here. Going to be 4 wide receiver, quad set to the strong side of the field. Single
they don't
to the
have
top,
enough people. They don't have.
And whistles blown immediately. And a false start. Junction City was trying to take advantage of Foreman not having enough on the field. It ended up costing them. And if you're in a situation like that and you know that they're running people on the field, yeah, you want to hurry, but if you're offensive lineman, just hold your water. Just hold your water because they don't have enough to begin with. Dragons were running a quad set to the strong side of the field. That would
and Foreman didn't have enough to answer it either.
It might have been an escort to the end zone there.
That's what it was looking like.
But instead, it's 2nd down and 16. Sprint out pass, or excuse me, pass out to the edge to Bose. That's down at his feet. And so a quick 3rd down here for Junction City. Dragons not doing themselves any favors here offensively.
Yeah, the offense, the last, minus the scoring position, the last time they had the ball didn't, and with a great opportunity, did not look good at all. Resulted in 4 penalties real quick. And now this here is shaping up to be another missed opportunity.
3rd down and 15. Richard to throw. Plenty of time. Throws over the middle, in and out of the hands of his intended receiver. It was thrown a little bit behind him, but like John Madden always said, if you get both of them on the football, you got to bring it in. Incomplete. Tried to hook up with Zach Brown there. Brown drops it, and that'll be 4th down and 15. And the Dragons are going to have to punt it away once again.
And go ahead and, like you said, move over to that missed opportunity column because you just had a good stand, a big turnover.
The Dragons have forced 2 turnovers tonight and have ended up punting on the ensuing drive both times.
Yep.
Norman back in a punt position. And back deep for the Gators will be Quincy Robinson. Another good snap. And it's going to be more of a corner kick, not a bad punt at all. Going to take a Junction City bounce. And Smith will down it at the 31-yard line. So good job flipping the field there. Dragons back on defense. Game clock still running, unsure why. With 7:48 to play, clock still continuing to run. It's a 6-6 ball game. Nobody up 35 as far as I can tell.
Yep, and the officials hadn't noticed it yet, but I'm pretty sure that somebody's going to see it in a minute, surely.
Yeah, it'll probably be down to 5 minutes to play in the game before they do, but clock's still running, which is obviously working in favor of Foreman. They're not going to tell anybody that the clock's running.
Like we talked about, everything going their way right now, basically, because they got it set up like they want.
Well, they've turned the ball over, like I just mentioned. They turned the ball over twice. And they're tied 6-6. I mean, this you very well could look up and this be a 2-possession ball game, but instead you're tied at 6, and you've got the football. And they're going to give right up the middle. That's Allen. He's going to break loose. He's going to get near the midfield stripe. Finally wrestled out of bounds. That's Jamal Johnson from his secondary position. Allen having a couple of words with some Dragons on the sideline. Big gain there for Foreman on 1st and 10. And that moves us under 7 minutes to play. Wayne, their first scoring drive took 7 minutes and 19 seconds. This one started with 7:05. If I'm the Gators, knowing Junction City gets the football, not only am I trying to find the end zone here, I'm not trying to leave Junction City with any time before the half.
Yeah, there you go. Just stay with what you're doing because right now you're in the lead as far as the momentum of this game. The score's tied, don't get me wrong, but right now this is everything working Foreman's way.
Certainly, Uncle Mo taking up shop on the far side of the field. And they're going to give to Allen. A little bit of a slow read. Barnett, nice job coming in. Good read there, playing down the line of scrimmage. Wrestles down Allen before he can pick up a full head of steam. Be a minimal gain, about 2 yards. 2nd down and 8 coming. The Gators move it into Dragon territory. Ball spotted at the 47-yard line. We're near the 6-minute mark of the first half. Tell you what, Wayne, time just keeps on ticking.
Well, that indeed it is.
Like a Steve Miller song.
Mr. Miller did state that. Time keeps on ticking away.
Might have used slipping, but, ticking, slipping.
Slipping, ticking. Well, we can use ticking. It'll be all right.
Use ticking.
And again, Jacob, look at the play clock going under 10 down to 7. They're working it down.
No hurry here from Foreman. They're going to give to Holman. I tell you what, he's a shifty little running back. He is hard to find once he gets in behind a couple of those big bodies they got up front. He's going to earn them another 1st down. That's going to reset the chains. Ball spotted at the 40-yard line of Junction City now. Clock going to stop momentarily. And we're getting a 1st down marker or mention from the far side or the near side official.
Yep.
And now the chains are finally going to reset here. That ought to start the clock.
I tell you what, at halftime, I would love to know time of possession. We check the stats because I tell you, when you can control it like you're controlling it, you can stay with your offense like you're doing, everything's in your favor. And again, they go power.
And I was hoping they would get in the up back on the left side.
Yep.
Moved just a tad bit. Moved that left foot. Good job by the head official to see that. That's going to help Junction City out, back the football up to around the 45-yard line. It'll be a first down and 15. 5:22 to play, first half action. Junction City 6, Foreman 6. This is the Class 2A opener for both schools. Two teams last met in the 2018 state semifinals. That one was played over there in Little Red River County.
On a Saturday night, remember that?
Saturday night, that's right. It was pushed back due to the weather.
Yep.
We were literally on top of the press box with nothing between us and the ground but the good Lord. And a good power run there on 1st and 15. He's going to pick up about, I believe, 8. Not sure who the rusher was. Is that Holman again?
I believe so.
It was Holman. I tell you what, he's hard to find when he gets behind a couple of those big bodies. Number 33.
Well, you got a low handoff. You got them guys in tight, and man, you
listed at 5'7".
Yeah, you could pop either way before a right linebacker knows where you're at.
And it's not, it's not like, I mean, his size, being a little bit shorter than his offensive lineman definitely helps, but he's a quick runner too, and he's got good vision. We saw on that big run there in a previous drive, Junction City was able to force a turnover, and now on 2nd down and 7, clock at 4.5 minutes to play. This time they're going to give to Marks. He's a little shifty, and he's going to move inside the 35-yard line down to the 33. And so it's going to be a manageable 3rd down here for the Gators.
And, Jacob, you look at the clock, Junction City yet to use a timeout. Now, Foreman's already burned 2, but you would love to get that ball back and see if you can get this offense untangled.
Yeah, especially with getting the ball after the intermission. Clock's going to move under 4 minutes. 15 on the play clock. And I believe they're going to call a timeout here. Either that or they're going to try to hurry. And they're going to try to hurry. They're going to have to hurry. 5 on the play clock, running to the line of scrimmage, trying to get set. And they're going to get the play off. Right up the middle is Marks. He's got the first down, and that works to your foul. I mean, you barely get the play off, and then it results in about a 7-yard rush and a first down. You can't ask for it to be drawn up any better than that.
You can't. I mean, give them credit. That was perfect. I mean, you talk about Uncle Mo. He's got a lazy boy recliner on the Foreman side right now, kicked back, drinking a cold RC, which I would love to have right now, by the way.
Under 3.5 to play, first half action.
And see, when they come to the line, what they did, they all looked at that clock immediately.
And it's going to be a false start on the far side. Left tackle raised his head just a tad bit too early. That'll help Junction City. It'll also stop that clock. 3:17 to play. Tied at 6. Here from Paul H. Muse Field at David Carpenter Stadium. Again, Junction City will have a bye next week. Previously scheduled to play Haynesville, but due to the guidelines set forth by the Louisiana governor, that game will no longer be played this year. So hopefully next year those two
can get back together on that.
Can tangle once more. There's been some pretty good matchups here the last couple of years. Minus the last time we went to Haynesville.
Yeah.
We took it on the chin that night.
Yeah. Big time.
First down and 15 after the penalty. They're going to give to Allen. He's going to spin out of the grasp of a defender who showed really early. Be a minimal gain. Actually, maybe no gain. We'll see where they might. They're going to give him about 1.5 yards. We'll call it 2 yards here from the top of the press box. 2nd down and 13 now. Clock's going to move under 3 minutes to play. Time of possession going to be a big factor here going into the intermission. If you're Junction City, this would be a big opportunity to get a stop and hopefully the football back. Get some points before the half. Gators break the huddle with 9 on the play clock. And they're going to give to Allen. He's going to work the left side. Still on his feet.
Flag.
We've got a flag. Probably going to be a hold. Torrance finally
I think that's going.
Tackles Allen out of bounds. DeBoe's also in on the stop. And a hold, and that's going to back the Gators up. Be 2nd down and 18 now.
I'll mark this off. Got a trivia question for you if you want it.
Okay.
What country singer and former Foreman Gator and a mule rider student, I believe, is from, of course, Foreman from Little River County?
Yeah.
You want to think about that for a minute?
I mean, I don't need to think. I was about to break out in song, but.
Well, break out a song here. We don't mind.
If you'll go Harmony with me, we'll do it here.
Well, look, we've been flying by the seat of our pants for 8 years now on these broadcasts.
There's no need to act like we can't just break out in song whenever we want, right?
Yeah. I start to say the FAA or whatever they are.
I believe that's
FCC.
I'm about to say the FFA. We're not flying. Yeah, we haven't flown any
Some
games
people
yet.
think we have been flying up here at times.
Yeah, ain't no doubt about that. Second down and long, and they're going to keep here. That's going to be Fowler, I believe, the quarterback. He's going to keep. It'll be a gain of about 4 yards. It's going to be a big third down coming for both teams. It'll be under 2 minutes by the time this one's snapped. But to answer your question, I believe
Yes.
if you could paint me a Birmingham.
Oh, okay. I'm proud of you.
Tracy Lawrence, man.
There you go. Yes, Tracy Lawrence. In fact, what was
It's a good karaoke song.
I got it. Really?
Yeah. Really.
That's right. You sang it at that juke joint over in Yancey, didn't you? A little
That's
gigolo.
it.
Yeah.
The Gigolo Club in Yancey. That's
Yeah.
right. Under 150 to play here in the first half. And there's some miscommunication. They're trying to run a lineman off the field. They're going to change things up here. Snap is dropped. We've got flags. I tell you what, it's getting wilder out here than the night at the Pepper Hill Social Club.
It is. But Jacob, again, let me point out, when they go under center to pass, they have problems, and they had it again. If Junction City can keep the pressure on them, you could probably take them out of their passing attack because they're not good with a deep snap coming out of the shotgun.
Yeah.
They had trouble with it, and they have not went back to it.
And another false start.
Yep.
It's been a common theme offensively for the Gators tonight. 140, clock stop with 140 to play here in the first half. 6-6 is our score. And it's going to be a big third down here for the Gators. Ball just inside the 40 at the 39-yard line. They're going to have a twins formation to the far side of the field. Ball sits at the middle. 10 on the play clock. Again, no hurry, even with the clock running down. Now they're going to have they got a double twin set. And they're going to probably throw here from under center. Pressured immediately. Torrance flashes early. And just a good job there by Fowler just to get rid of the football. There was a receiver in the vicinity.
Now what do you do, Jacob? Fourth down if you're the Gators.
I think you got to punt it away here. Junction City is obviously going to get. I mean,
you got to. I think
the percentages say they're going to get the football back here on 4th and 23. You don't want to give them the football at the 35-yard line or the 30. I'd rather them try to get it. If I'm Foreman, I want to try to punt it away and maybe try to pin them inside the 10 and make Junction City go 90+ with about just under 90 seconds to play in the half.
Right, in the last two possessions for the Dragon offense, there's been no consistency of any kind.
Going to be a nice punt. Gilbert is going to watch it bounce at the 11. That's where it'll be touched. So Junction City, they're going to need to go 89 yards in 88 seconds as we are tied at 6 here from the border town.
Indeed. Got a Tracy Lawrence story to tell you. When Rev and I were helping with Music Fest, I drove Tracy Lawrence's band around. They wanted to go play some golf and all that.
All right.
And they had asked me where I was from. I said, well, from Junction City. And they said, we know y'all. I said, do you? And I got to thinking about it. When he was in school, we went over there in 80 and played him.
That's right.
And they talked about, they remember going over, us coming over there in 80, and they claimed that the Dragons were pretty nasty.
Oh, nasty bunch, that 80 team.
That 80 team.
14-0 winners, Junction City over the Gators back in 1980. First play here on 1st and 10 from the 11. That's Ivory. He worked the left side. And I believe he's going to get up to, they're going to mark him just shy of the 15 at the 14. So about a 3-yard gain. Second down and 7. Clock's going to move toward the final 60 seconds to play. Junction City not really in any hurry. They've got 3 timeouts to work with. And Rashard going to work out of the pistol. 2 receivers to the right, single man to the left. Takes the snap. It's going to be a sprint out pass. Rashard to throw on the run, incomplete. Was trying to hook up with DeBose. He had him wide open. He was wide open there. But throwing on the run, he overthrew him. That'll stop the clock with 52 seconds to play.
And a little bit disturbing is this offense. They have not, since scoring the touchdown, they have not shown anything.
And here on 3rd down and 7, that's a nice play right there. K.D. Smith, he's going to reset the chains. That'll stop the clock momentarily with 44 seconds to play.
And the Dragons are huddling immediately, Jacob.
That may be a spark Junction City needed. Now they're going to go empty. Trips to the left, and they're going to throw out. That's Smith.
You got to get it. Come on.
Hit him in the worst spot possible.
In his hands.
The hands.
Pass ball's incomplete. Intended for number 21, K.D. Smith.
Make it look just the way I plan. And right, that plan would definitely be Junction City finding the end zone here with 39 seconds to play in the first half.
And they're capable of doing it.
And they're going to keep it on the ground. K.D. Smith's got it. And he's going to run by one defender, still on his feet, going to be just shy of midfield. Dragons going to have to get on the ball in a hurry. They're going to reset the chains. Clock stopped momentarily with 33 seconds to play. Now, they've got 3 timeouts, and I believe they're going to decide to
they're
use
going to burn one here.
And they're going to step aside for 30. We'll do it with them. Back in 30, Junction City driving here late in the first half on the Dragon Sports Network. .33 seconds to play in the first half. Tell you what, it's been an exciting one here in the border town tonight. Junction City 6, Foreman 6, and the Dragons looking to add to the scoreboard here as they're announcing the split the pot winner. Somebody will go home with a little extra cash tonight.
Speaking of that, Jacob, look, pretty good crowd. The south end zone on the other side of the fence, a few folks. There's a lot of cars parked over there, more than normal.
I got a Clean Team Pro scoreboard update. El Dorado 16, Cabot 20.
Interesting.
Out of the timeout. Ball's on the ground, and it is going to be kicked around and picked up by the Gators. Junction City, another drive wasted, this time with 28 seconds to play in the first half. Smith puts it on the ground, and it comes away Foreman football. And so fortunately for Junction City, not much of a quick offensive attack for the Gators.
No.
So, and with only one timeout, you're in a good position, but it sure would have been nice to have 6 more points, potentially even 8 on that scoreboard going into the intermission.
Well, the Gators are huddled up over there. Well, their offense, the skill unit is. So there may be a little trickeration on their part coming up here. I mean, you got an opportunity.
I mean, theoretically speaking, when you've got that many skill guys in the huddle on the far side of the field, you got to think they're up to something.
Indeed, Jacob, indeed.
1st and 10 for Foreman. They're going to bring a man in motion, and they're going to fake the pitch, pressured immediately. They're going to run a little screen here. That's a well-designed play. Still on his feet. He's going to go untouched to the house. Junction City puts it on the turf. Foreman draws one up out of one of the back pages of the playbook. The sideline is excited as it has been all night, and it is a touchdown for the Gators with 19 seconds to play. That was Fowler to Kemp from 42 out.
And he covered it very fast.
Yes, he did. Quick, fast, and in a hurry, as they say. Wow.
Well, there is no doubt about it. Foreman, we talked about this. Your back's against the wall. You need to get your season going because you're fixing to hit conference, and they are showing it right now.
Yeah, they are. I believe that's the first. We'd have to look at the stats here at the break. That may be the first time Kemp's touched the football all night, and he goes 42 to pay dirt. You know, that he might need to be in the second half plans for the Gators.
Indeed.
I mean, I hope he's not. But, you know, if I'm a Foreman, I'm definitely going to try to get the ball in his hands as Junction City calls a timeout here. They'll talk some things over. They had have actually got 2, now one remaining. And so I believe they were just doing that to get the right personnel on the field.
Clean Team Pro scoreboard update. Desart 22, Barton 6, Fordyce 48, Camden Harmony Grove 7.
Gracious alive.
That Fordyce score very, very concerning at the moment.
Yeah, that's the word that comes to mind.
That is the word for it.
Gurdon 13, Bearden nothing halftime.
That's a pretty good score too. I mean, 'cause
Yeah.
most people pick Gurdon
Gurdon to walk over.
to use another big word here that I've used earlier, a
Did
plethora of
you
points.
say halftime?
Yeah, 13-0
halftime.
at the break.
Wow, that is, Jacob. You're right.
Rising 46, England nothing halftime.
And if anybody was wondering whether or not Jameson Threadgill picked up where he left off from a season ago, he has.
There's no slowdown or nothing.
No. It's all go in Gurdon. 12-6 is our score. 2-point try coming. Junction City had to use a timeout, get the right personnel on the field. Gave up the big touchdown. But you can go into the half with some momentum here if you can stop the 2-point try, and I believe they're going to do just that. They do.
Yep.
Really nowhere going there for Allen. Timeout on the field. 19 seconds to play here in the first half. Foreman 12, Junction City 6. Back after 30 on the Dragon Sports Network. Nineteen seconds to play before the intermission. Foreman 12, Junction City 6. Big momentum shift there as the Gators were able to take advantage, unlike Junction City, of a turnover. It resulted in a 42-yard pitch and catch. That was Fowler to Kemp, and that's the difference here, 12-6. Going to be a corner kick, and that is going to go out of bounds. So pretty good field position here for Junction City. Got 19 seconds to work with, one timeout on the board. Who knows, Wayne? Maybe they can find themselves in position to maybe punch one in here late.
It would be nice. Either that or Smith may say, take a knee and let's go talk, because there's some concerns. I kind of looking at the team here, and we'll talk about it on the halftime show, our NEA Mattress Direct halftime show. Got some stuff to talk about there, plus a special feature we're going to present at halftime.
Well, Coach Smith mentioned it when being interviewed by the Elreda News Times earlier this week, that kind of described Foreman as somewhat of a wounded animal.
Yes.
And there's no animal more dangerous than a wounded one, because he finds himself in a corner, most likely fighting for his life. And that's what we have here. Been a tremendous effort out of Foreman so far tonight through 2 quarters of play.
Well, this band of Gators out of Little River County has shown it tonight.
And another line drive kick. This one's going to have to be fielded. That Johnson in and out of his hand, picked up at the 20. He's going to get one block, and he's got nowhere to go. Nowhere to go. Use 6 seconds, actually 8 seconds, actually 9 seconds. They're going to continue to run the clock, I guess, until the halftime horn sounds. There should be 12 seconds on the clock.
And that's what.
And the clock's going to run out. And I'm sure somebody will get there to 12. Okay, they're putting 12 back on the clock.
12 back on there.
So 12 seconds to play in the first half. 12-6 is our score. Junction City, like you said, Wayne, I don't know whether they'd be better off just taking a knee, trying to regroup. They will get the football at the half.
That's true.
Or if you actually try to take a shot here. Obviously, it worked for Foreman. Quick strike.
Right, and we're capable of it, Jake.
Oh, definitely. There's definitely enough playmakers out there. A little miscommunication. Richard's going to have to keep it. He's trying to get to the sideline. He won't be able to get out of bounds. That'll should keep the clock running, and it will. That'll do it. 2 quarters of play in the books here from the Muse. Foreman 12, Junction City 6. The Dragons face a 6-point deficit, but they get the football after the half. We're going to step aside for 2 minutes. We'll come back with the NEA Mattress Direct El Dorado halftime show here on the Dragon Sports Network.
It is halftime at Paul H. Muse Field at David Carpenter Stadium. We're up here in the EDC broadcast booth. Foreman 12, Junction City 6. And as we mentioned earlier, you got a wounded Gator. He's going to fight back, and Foreman has shown some resilience. Give them credit, folks. They have played tough. Junction City, turnovers hurting them. Penalties on top of that. Missed opportunities. But despite all that, it's a 12-6 score at the half. We welcome you to the NEA Mattress Direct halftime show. And to start things off, let me get situated right here. Junction City coming off a win over Smackover 41-6. Foreman coming off of 2 losses where they didn't have quite everybody back. Plus, as talking with Coach Smith on the coaches show on game night, it seemed like they were not really focused on playing Genoa Central, who beat them last week. It seemed like they were kind of looking ahead. Well, if you look at things right now, they are definitely not looking ahead. They're looking right at Junction City, and they lead it at the half 12-6. Of course, this was Wall of Honor night here in the border town. We did a ceremony on game night inducting the 1953 and 1960 Dragons. And just a quick recap, both of these teams won conference titles. They won the 7B in 53, first time in school history. And in 1960, they won the 7B East, and that was the second time it happened. But also that year, they played in the first playoff game in school history, traveling over to Stamps to face Mineral Springs, who had won the 7B West. The Dragons lost that game 7-0, but we did induct both of these teams tonight. Well-deserved honor. A lot of great players on both of those teams. Another important night here, or another important reason tonight here in the border town, on September 11th, 1987, this field was dedicated as the new home of the Dragons. The very first game played here was, of course, that night. 33 years to the night, we're going to look back with someone who scored the first touchdown here in what is now known, it was known as Dragon Stadium then, it's now known as Paul H. Muse Field at David Carpenter Stadium. DSN correspondent Sean Enos was the starting quarterback on that 87 team. In fact, he started at quarterback from 86 through about halfway through the 88 season when they moved him to tailback due to injuries. He is a Wall of Honor inductee and one of the best quarterbacks in school history. When he did finish his Dragon career, he finished it as the all-time winningest quarterback in school history. But tonight, we asked Sean to give us his memories on that night, September 11th, 1987, and here's what he had to say.
So I'm told that tonight, September 11th, 2020, is the 33rd anniversary of the grand opening of what we just called the new stadium back then, ushering in a new era of Dragon football in the fall of 1987. The DSN guys asked me to share some thoughts. You know, one thing that I found to be the case is that time starts to sort of erase facts and numbers, but emotions and sentiment, those things seem to survive for a long time. So who wouldn't have been excited back then, moving into a brand new stadium? I mean, it's a once-in-a-lifetime event. So, of course, all the coaches, the band members, cheerleaders, players, fans, families, everybody was excited. You know, everyone gets excited about moving into a new home, right? And after all these years, one of the facts and numbers that I do remember is the number 1,500, because that's the number of people that they reported were there that night. And there's a picture in an old Junction City News article that shows the crowd. And I had some people tell me back then that it was just 1,500 on the home side alone. But either way, I always thought it was interesting because the whole town of Junction then had about 1,600 people. So that number has always really stuck out to me as far as the reported attendance for that night. And the first thing you noticed back then was all the space at the new stadium. The old stadium, I mean, it was an enclosed box. It was bordered by a street on one side, a house on one side, school buildings on one side, and a gym on the other side. And the sound from the home stands And our fantastic bands back then, it just bounced off the side of the gym right into the visitors' bleachers, which was a great advantage for Dragon football teams. But the new stadium was so big and open, so you just wondered if the fans and the band would be as loud in that open environment. But thankfully, they were, and they proved it, night after night. Maybe the best feature of the whole place was walking up that hill from the locker rooms, which at the time were not even ready. Some people don't know this, but that first year in '87, we actually dressed across the highway in what we called then the new gym, another historical footnote, and then we bussed over. So on that first night in '87, what a cool view it was to walk slowly up that hill and see those shiny new aluminum home bleachers rise up behind the scoreboard, of course full of all the loved ones who were just excited as all of the players were. But opening a new stadium brings pressure. Nobody wants to lose in their brand new facility. And in the 80s, there were no gimmies on the schedule. So you expected Strong to come in and play hard and try to ruin your big night. So as a player, you have to find a way to win. Everyone feels it. Some people even talked about it. And all these years later, I'm really just proud to report that we did find a way to win a really hard-fought contest. And the Dragons, over the next 33 years, they've had some many fantastic victories at what we now call Paul H. Muse Field at David Carpenter Stadium. But there's only one first, and that's what I'll always remember, is the very first victory in the new stadium.
Sean Enos, and talking about the September 11th, 1987 game with Strong. The Dragons won it. The inaugural game played here at what is now known as Paul H. Muse Field at David Carpenter Stadium. Since then, coming into the night, 202 games have been played here at the Muse. Junction City's record, 159-43, a 78% winning percentage, and hopefully tonight they can make it 160, but they're going to have to come from behind. Not in bad shape. They trailed 12-6 at the half. And while I have the opportunity, we hadn't had much of a chance to do it with the rate of this game going. The reason you are able to enjoy tonight's game is because of these people right here, the fine advertisers of the Dragon Sports Network. Folks, let me brag on them a little bit here, if you don't mind. Of course, we're talking to you from the EDC broadcast booth, El Dorado Chemical, the title sponsor of Dragon Football, and the broadcast booth naming rights. They have had it since 2013. And a big thank you to everyone at El Dorado Chemical for being with us over the years and helping us make it to year number 8, which is what we're in right now. Union Kennel and Farm Supply, our YouTube sponsor of Dragon Football, Mr. Ricky Robertson. Let me give him a big shout out. A good friend of mine. He has been with us from the get-go, as old Willie and Merle used to say back in the day. Ameriprise Financial, the presenter of Dragon Football Coaches Show with Brad Smith. That is on game night, and we are very proud to launch game night this year, and we are proud of the response we're getting from it. And we want to thank Mr. Greg Harrison and staff for being a part of game night and being a part of the Dragon Sports Network. Langs's, they were our Wall of Honor presenter tonight. I failed to mention them a while ago when I was talking about the 53 and 60 team, but let me mention them now. Call 811 before you dig. Langs's urges you to do that. If you got any kind of digging to do, especially near lines and stuff, call 811 before you dig. Langs's the Wall of Honor presenter this year, and also for we're hoping to do something in basketball. That's not been finalized yet, but if they do, they will be presenting that as well. Let me get my glasses back on. The game night presenter, Clean Harbors Environmental Services. They helped us launch it this year. In fact, if you come by and look up here at the EDC broadcast booth, you'll see some banners hanging up here. And, of course, Clean Harbor's very involved with us, helping us launch game night. And they are our game night presenter, the James Anderson Foundation. They handle all the basketball and dual state tournament with us, and we appreciate them being the presenter of both of those items, of course, Genesee basketball and the dual state tournament, which is looking at number 90 this year. Tournament X, the post-game show, and they do the 8AA report that we didn't do it tonight because we had a special we wanted to do on Wall of Honor, but we will be back when we do the England game. We will be catching everybody up on what is happening in the 8AA. NEA Mattress Direct, this is the halftime show. They're our halftime home game presenters. You heard Mr. Denton give us some scores a while ago on the Clean Team Pro Wash scoreboard. Shout out to Mr. Holmes and company. And I tell you what, this is, of course, the first year we've had Clean Team. They just started, I think, earlier this year. I'm not sure, but Kent Holmes has been with us just about from the get-go, helping us get sponsors. I think STI Sims was one of them, and we used to have Three Creeks with us. And Ken was very vital in doing that, and we want to thank him. The Kevin Norris Memorial. Folks, if you look up here at the EDC broadcast booth, right on either side you see the Clean Harbors, but you also see a banner in honor of Kevin Norris. And we want to thank Miss Jan, April, and Allison for being a part of the DSN. And when I say being a part of DSN, I don't mean just being a part, being a vital part. Thank you for all you've done. Hog Wild Pest Control. Another one that's been with us just about from the get-go. Kim's Hair Salon, Junction City Florist, and Gonzalez Mexican Restaurant. Gonzalez has been with us since they have come to town over a year ago. And, of course, Kim's Hair Salon and Junction City Florist have been with us also from the old get-go. Folks, I know you hear me call these names out. We try to call them out as much as we can, and we also scroll them. But all of these advertisers are vital to what we do, what we're able to do, not only with the broadcast of the Dragon Sports Network's coverage of Junction City football, but also the dual state tournament, the Wall of Honor. And I don't want to reveal too much, but yes, we're working on something else that we plan to show down the road, and they are vital in us being able to do that. So if you get a chance, if you know anybody tied in with any of our advertisers, please let them know, hey, by the way, thank you for supporting the DSN. Old Wayne's always talking about y'all, so let them know, and we thank them. And I tell you what, right now, let's go to the Clean Team Pro Wash scoreboard and the ex-Wildcat. I think you're ready to rattle off a few scores, aren't you?
Yeah, Wayne, I almost picked this as my pick 3. Pulaski Academy traveled to Nashville, Tennessee, and they lost last year to Ravenwood, which is in Nashville, Tennessee. But tonight they're up 16-7. Also, we've got Rising 46, England 6, Gurdon 33, Bearden nothing, third quarter. Prescott 51, Parker's Chapel 0.
Whoa.
Mount Ida and Jesseville. Mount Ida is 22, Jesseville 21.
You got a nice little affair going there.
The Fordyce is over at Camden Harmony Grove, 48-7. Desart 30, Barton 6. And here's one that we might. I better say it before he gets up here.
Yeah, say it before Jacob gets here. I don't want to hear it.
Stuttgart 29, Warren nothing.
Oh, and of course, folks, if you heard that uh-oh in the background, his timing is impeccable.
River Crest 34, Valley View 24.
I like a good salad with a steak dinner, too.
Camden Fairview 21, Hamburg 6. So maybe the El Dorado game last week didn't look all that bad.
No, I fist to say, hold up. Well, you know, we talked about, let's say something about Camden Fairview. Everybody was talking about, oh, my gosh, Camden Fairview beat El Dorado. Camden Fairview's been coming on, and
yes, they have.
They're no slouch.
Greenbrier 21, Arkadelphia 14. Magnolia, I'm happy to see this. I got a coaching friend over there. 35, Little Rock Christian 21.
Oh, wow.
Whoa.
I knew it wouldn't be long. Coach King, get that Panther bunch over there rolling.
Get them rolling.
Hope 14, Ashdown 13. Let me travel on up here a little bit. Conway 14, Jonesboro 10. That's still showing halftime. I'm sure that's a little further. Cabot 27, El Dorado 16.
Not bad.
Benton is over Little Rock Southwest 37-0. And that's all the scores I got right
I don't know
now.
if you guys have seen any of the pictures of the facilities that they have up there at Little Rock Southwest, but you could argue some of the finest in the state.
Really?
Yep.
That's one of the newer.
That's the Griffins. Yeah, that's one of the ones that I think it was like Fair and a couple others combined to of course, they've unfortunately been taking it on the chin. They took it on the chin last week. I believe that was the
inaugural.
That was the Sonic Drive game of the week,
Oh,
and
okay.
and of course obviously down big right now at the half.
Well, you're listening to and watching the NEA Mattress Direct halftime show. If the Dragons win, 10% off next week. Purchase of $6.99 or more. If Junction City will pull it off. And Jacob, do you have a?
Yeah, we got some numbers here.
Throw some numbers out to us here at the
For
half.
Junction City, not much, not too many good numbers, but nonetheless numbers. When you look at individually, Gabe Richard 3 of 10. Receivers have had a couple of drops for 34 yards. Does have the touchdown. KD Smith, he's the leading rusher. 3 attempts, 26 yards. He's averaging 8.7 a pop, but he does have the fumble there at the end of the half that cost Junction City a potential opportunity to almost, or what we thought they may could have, punched it in the end zone there before the break. Devontae Gilbert, 2 catches, 28 yards. He's accounted for the lone score. Jamal Johnson's recorded his 3rd interception of the season. And then other than that, that's about it for Junction City. Team-wise, though, some impressive numbers for the Gators. They've ran 35 plays, total 219 yards, and they've had the football. Get this, 24 minutes in the first half. Foreman's held the football for 18 minutes and 44 seconds.
Well, that's okay. That's why I want to know
Dragons,
what the time
Dragons
of
have
possession
had
is.
it for less than 5 minutes.
Good
4
night.
minutes. 4 minutes and 57 seconds for Junction City. Foreman, 29 rushing attempts, 164 yards. They've got 55 passing yards, 42 of which is the touchdown there late in the first half. 8 rushing first downs. Junction City with only 6 total first downs. And then you look at the penalties. 10 Foreman penalties for 60 yards, 6 Junction penalties for 30 yards. Of course, that's not counting the 3 Foreman penalties on 2-point tries.
Yeah.
So they're already up to 13 penalties. So if you're Junction City coming out of the half, Wayne, they're going to have to take. You don't want to say they've got to,
but
they it would be very beneficial for them throughout the remainder of this game if they can take the football and drive down the field and at the worst at least tie the game up, and then maybe potentially put themselves in position to take the lead with a 2-point try.
I concur, because I tell you right now, Junction City the defense has been, for the most part, minus a couple plays, they've been tough. They've had to adjust to this Foreman offense. I mean, that's running a best way to put it, a power set. I mean, they're putting 2 backs right on the line and then a back in the backfield. Foreman, it has went just like they want. We've talked about it. I bet we said it 100 times, I know, but so far everything's went their way. We've watched them, and they're doing a really good job being very disciplined, snapping the ball under 10 seconds on the play clock. I mean, you'll see them break the huddle, and every one of them, the linemen and all, everybody's looking at that play clock. Their idea is simple. We're going to control it. We're going to try to shorten this game by controlling it, and so far it's worked to their advantage. Now, minus some penalties, for the most part, everything has went Foreman's way. Now, we say all that, but look at the scoreboard. It's 12-6. Junction City, like you said, you come out here and do what you've got to do, you can get back. You can get right back in the middle of it with a nice little drive to start the second half. But this first 5 minutes of the second half is very pivotal to the rest of this game. There's no doubt about that, Jacob.
Yeah, it is, and we're going to see here shortly. I'll tell you what, just a couple moments before kickoff, we're going to step aside for 60 seconds. When we come back, we'll have the kickoff of the second half here from the border town. Foreman 12, Junction City 6, back in 60 on the Dragon Sports Network. Junction City will receive the second half kickoff as we're just a couple of seconds away from beginning the third quarter of play. Foreman 12, Junction City 6. And Wayne, real quick before the Dragons have it offensively, what do you want to see from Junction City here on this opening drive of the second half?
I think before you think about going to the air, needless to say, you establish your rushing attack. Junction had some success initially on the possession they scored, pounding the ball at Foreman and kind of working it off tackle and picking up 6, 7, 8 yards a pop. You need to come out, get that running attack going, and then get Rashard loose, maybe let's see if he can hit a couple of intermediate passes. Because everything so far has been just, let's try this, let's try that, and nothing is working. They've shown no consistency.
That's what I was about to say, no consistency, but they've got an opportunity here as we're underway here in the second half. Going to be a line drive kick, going to bounce around, gets by Gilbert, going to be fielded. I believe that's Johnson back there, runs into his own man, still on his feet. He's going to get up across the 35-yard line to around the probably 37, so pretty good field position here for Gabe Richard and the offense as we begin the third quarter.
And, Jacob, one thing more. We talked about how things are going Foreman's way. If you can get a score here and tie it and convert more than likely a two-point attempt, if they were to score, that's probably what they would do, no doubt. You can kind of put a little pressure back on Foreman.
Out of the pistol, twin receivers to the left side of the formation. Somewhat of a high snap. They're going to give to Ivory. He's going to plow ahead. It'll be a gain of around 4 yards. We'll call it 2nd down and 6 as he crosses the 40-yard line. Almost 19 minutes was the Foreman offense on the field in the first half. And you wouldn't mind seeing Junction City kind of take their time here, because then it puts pressure on an offense that takes a lot of time with there being not much time left. Going to be a sprint out pass. That's Gilbert. He's got it at the 39-yard line, and he's going to do a good job of getting across midfield down into Foreman territory. They're going to mark him out at the 47-yard line. Nicely done there. That's going to be a 12-yard toss from Richard to Gilbert.
Look at the respect they're showing Gilbert here. He split to our side of the field. They are way off of him.
And they're going to give to Ivory. Back to the ground. Ivory full head of steam, and he moves inside the 35. They're going to mark him down at around the 33-yard line. So back-to-back big plays there for Junction City. 12-yard toss and a 14-yard run. And the Dragons are knocking on the door of the purple zone.
I've been watching Gilbert when he lines up, and Jacob, they are playing, let's see, 5, 10, about a good 10 yards off of him.
12-6 our score. Dragons trailing, but they're driving here. 11-12 to play, third quarter action. And they're going to give to Ivory once more. He's met at the line of scrimmage. Several Gators in there. And he's going to be stopped for a loss. Clock moves under 11 minutes to play here in the third quarter.
Again, now they're bringing 2 down. They're bringing 1 facing the quarterback in case they try that pop pass again.
And they're going to give to Ivory hard running. He's going to get past the original line of scrimmage. Took up about 2 more yards. He's going to get close to the 30. I believe that's where they'll mark him down. And so it'll be 3rd down and 8 coming. Big 3rd down here for Junction City on their first drive of the second half.
And no doubt to 4-down territory.
And again, they're going to go out to Gilbert. Screen pass. Good block by Barnett. He's sprung loose. Inside the 10, down to the 5. Big block out there by Tate Barnett. It sprung Gilbert. The Dragons are inside the 10, and they're knocking on the door of the goal line.
You said it best, Jacob. Tate Barnett. That opened that whole play up. An outstanding block, and now a big opportunity.
And they're going to get to Jamal Johnson, and he is going to go in the end zone untouched. Touchdown, Junction City. They needed just 1 minute and 56 seconds, and they've tied this ball game at 12.
Well, just what the doctor ordered, just what you called for. Now a big 2-point conversion.
And that's the Junction City offense that we're used to seeing, where it's quick strike, 12, 14, 15, 20 yards at a time. Big play there from Richard to Gilbert. And they're going to give to Johnson, and just like on the touchdown run, he's got the 2-point try. Junction City, for the first time tonight, they take the lead with 10:04 to play. Third quarter action, it's 14-12. Dragons on top of the Gators, back in 30 on the Dragon Sports Network. Welcome back to Paul H. Muse Field at David Carpenter Stadium. And Uncle Mo's picked up his lawn chair. He's making his way over here to the Dragons sideline, Wayne. That was a minute and 56-second drive, and we saw a little bit of everything. Pounding it with A.J. Ivory. Big block by Tate Barnett to spring Devontae Gilbert. Good couple of passes out to Gilbert from Richard. Good blocking up front. You can't ask for more in the first 2 minutes of action.
No, if you ask Dr. Feelgood what would help the Dragons, that's what he would have said right there, what they just did.
Line drive kick. It's bobbled at the 30. Ball still on the ground, and I don't believe Junction City come away with it. Big opportunity there. They'd have come away with the football. Uncle Mo would have had to just go ahead and just stop with the lawn chair immediately and set up shop on the Dragon sideline. So with 10 minutes to play third quarter, Foreman will come away with it. That was a good line drive kick there by the Dragons.
Again, just what you're looking for. And, you know, I hate to say it, but number 8 for Junction City, let me get my roster here, had a perfect opportunity, C.J. Miller, and did not realize that ball because he didn't realize it till it's too late. He tried to get it, but if he'd have been looking, he might have had a scoop and score.
Yeah, Miller was down there in a hurry, too.
Yes, he was.
First time we see the Gator offense here in the second half. They're going to get back in the power, trailing by 2 now. And they're going to give to Allen right up the gut along the left side. It'll be a minimal gain.
Well, we believe we know the weakness. If you can force them to have to pass, they're having to come from under center to do it. And they are having problems with Junction City putting the pressure on them because they're having to come from under center. They tried to get in the gun, had a bad snap, and then I think, Jacob, I want to say they tried it one more time to end up with a penalty. So
I believe so.
Yeah, they got away from it after that. So if you can force them into a passing situation, they're going to have to come from under center. And I believe Junction City can shut them down and get the ball back.
219 yards of total offense for the Gators in the first half. And they're going to give to Allen here on 2nd down and 7. Again, a minimal gain. That Dragon defensive front. A couple of big effort plays here early. That was Barnett.
Well, one thing for sure, you can't afford this second half to let Foreman have the darn ball for over 18 minutes. I mean,
no, you can't.
You can't do that.
Under 9 minutes to play. Again, the Gators going to stick with their first half approach. No urgency.
Play clock is under 8.
They're just now getting the play in the huddle. They're going to have to hurry to the line of scrimmage.
They're coming to the line with 3, 2, 1.
They're going to have to burn
flag
an early timeout. No, they're going to have to burn an early timeout. We'll step aside with them. 8:35 to play third quarter action. Dragons by 2, back in 30 on the Dragon Sports Network.
.8:35 remaining in the third quarter here from Paul H. Muse Field at David Carpenter Stadium. We're atop the old Emerson Brewer in the EDC broadcast booth, and things are kind of getting interesting out here in the border town. Junction City leading 14-12. Foreman faces a third, and let's call it a long 6, Jacob.
Yeah, long 6 here with, like you said, Wayne, just a little over 8.5 to play in the third quarter. Dragons, nice job offensively on their first drive of the second half to take the lead. And now they've got to form it in a third down situation. Fowler takes the snap, going to give to Marks. He's got absolutely nowhere to go. Several Dragons in on the scene. The first one's there. Cam Torrance, Christopher Norman, And that's going to put the Gators in a 4th down situation. And I believe they're going to bring the punting unit onto the field. I believe you got to, right?
I think you do, because you can't afford. Junction City just showed that, hey, our offense can strike pretty quick. You know, we marched down the field 63 yards in a buck 56. You don't afford risking and not making it and giving Junction great field position after that happened.
Devontae Gilbert back deep. They roll the snap back there. It's going to be not a bad punt. It's going to bounce just inside the 40, going to get to the sideline.
Get away.
And a Foreman player trying to throw Junction City in. You got to stay away from that.
Yeah, Miller's got to be smarter than that.
Stay away from the football.
Good
Peter,
gracious.
Peter,
get away
stay
from
away
it.
from the Stay away from the football. 7:50 to play, Junction City. This is definitely how they wanted the second half to begin. They get the football, drive down the field, take the lead. And then now they've forced a 3-and-out by the Gators, and they've got the football once more.
And we got a injured Dragon.
Tate Barnett shaking up.
Barnett's shaking up. You don't want to see that. He is moving on his own, though. But, I mean, you hate to see him hurt.
Can't tell if it's a cramp or.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. We'll keep an eye on him. Like you said, Jacob, big opportunity for the Dragon offense.
7:50 to play, third quarter action. Richard in the pistol. He's got an off-back set behind him, and that's who they're going to give to. That's going to be Ivory, and he's unable to run out of the big grasp of one of the big defensive linemen up front for the Gators. That's big number 79. Dalen Haley, 5'10", 300.
5'10", 300.
He's given the Dragons a lot of trouble up front so far tonight. Made his presence felt here early in the third quarter. They're going to give to Ivory. He's going to bounce it out toward the left side, and I was hoping he wouldn't see it, but he did.
Gilbert.
And they call the flag. That's going to be on Devontae. He got his hand inside, and that helped spring Ivory.
Yep.
That's going to back Junction City. Not what you wanted there for the Dragons. Going to put the football at their own 31-yard line. They're going to work off the left hash. DeBose and Frazier to the top of the formation. They're going to throw here on second down, and that's high in and out of the grasp of Frazier, nearly intercepted as well.
That one's on Richard, because I was just fixing to say, talking about Frazier and DeBose, you want to see them, and DeBose's kind of come along, you want to see them establish themselves. And especially if you take a look at Frazier, you know, tall young man, he's got some stride to him. If you can get him in the offense going too, along with DeBose, you're going to open up that running game even more.
Sprint out pass on the play action. Richard to throw on the run, and he's got in and out of the hands of Frazier. Pass falls incomplete. Now it's going to be 4th down and 12. Flag on the field on the near the Dragon sideline. Hopefully it can erase the drop. Officials are getting together, talking things over. And if you're Junction City, not only are you going backwards and unable to catch the football right now, but you've only used 38 seconds.
Yeah.
You're wanting to put Foreman in a position where they don't have much to, now they're going to wave off the penalty.
Coach Smith not happy with it. I was watching the coaches on the sideline, Jacob, and as soon as they waved it off, Junction felt like that penalty was on Foreman. Not sure, you know, what it was, all sides or what, but they were wanting that, and they're not. Smith's letting the side judge know he's not happy with it.
Dragon's going to have to punt here on 4th and 12. Need a good one here from Norman. Good snap. Plenty of time to get it off. Going to be a line drive kick. Could be fieldable, and it will be. Runs into the back of his own man. Nobody's there except Chance Rowland. He's the first guy on the scene, and he keeps, I believe the return man there was Robinson. He keeps him from going anywhere. So now Foreman with the football once more. 7:03 to play in the third quarter. Back and forth we go.
Yeah, and go ahead, and I hate to say that, Yeah, it was a missed opportunity because you want to keep Uncle Mo over here, and Junction had the chance to do just that and failed to do so. So about 3 big missed opportunities they've had tonight, and despite that, Dragons lead by 2 with 7:03 remaining here in the third quarter.
First down, Gators.
What you don't want is let Foreman get on one of those methodical drives again.
First and 10 for the Gators. Ball at their own 41-yard line. Moving left to right. Fowler looks over the defense. And is going to give to Allen. Allen right up the middle. It's going to be a solid 6, maybe even 7-yard gain.
Yeah, about 7.
Here for the Gators on their first play of the drive.
Jacob, one thing we hadn't talked about, which I don't know how much of a play it'll come into, Junction been working their way into shape. We don't really know how well Foreman, I mean, they haven't shown no signs of fatigue yet, but you kind of wonder, because I say that now, I'm looking at some big linemen with their, hands on the hips.
Yeah, that always used to be an advantage for Junction City.
Right.
They were always usually, a lot of the teams were in shape entering the season, whereas they were playing some opponents that were trying to get in shape.
And that was a big difference.
It's more of an even playing field this year when it comes to conditioning. And they're going to give to Allen on 2nd down and 6. He's
close.
Tell you what, they're getting a big push. After initial contact, they're getting a big push from those offensive linemen. It almost becomes somewhat of a tug-of-war with the ball carrier.
Well, what I'm getting at on the question of conditioning, that could be a huge factor in the fourth quarter here. Who's still able to stand and go? And Foreman got it just where they want it, Jacob. 3rd and short, probably less, about maybe a yard.
Definitely no more than a yard. 3rd down. And a little bit of a fumble on the snap, and good job there coming in from his defensive end position. It's going to be a 1st down. Anyway, but good effort there. I'm not sure who 56 is. We don't have, I believe we have a 56 on the roster.
He charged in hard. It's not Mendoza, is it? No, he's over. I see him. No.
Mendoza's in 50.
Yeah.
So 1st down and 10. Clock moves under 5.5 to play here in the third quarter. 14-12 is our score. If you're just joining us, Junction City took the lead on their first drive of the second half. Now Foreman looking to answer as they moved across midfield. Ball at the Dragon 48-yard line.
Off balance.
And they'll go once again. Allen right up the middle. 7-8 yards a pop.
And Jacob, they showed then, if you were looking toward our sideline then, folks, you noticed the end, or actually the tackle off the line of scrimmage. They actually had 4 guys in the backfield showing like they were going to come to the right, and then they pop it in the middle.
Drive definitely playing into Foreman's hands here. Clock going to be under 4.5 by the time it's snapped. This clock will be closer to 4 minutes and 20 seconds.
It's going to be under 5 seconds on the snap here on the play clock.
And they're going to give once again to Allen. Runs into the back of one of his own blockers. Good job by the Dragon defensive front.
And it sets up another interesting 3rd down here.
Ball at the 40-yard line.
Now, on the Dragon side of the field, even at the 40, Jacob, I'll go ahead and say this 4-down territory.
It's got to be 4-down
It's
territory.
got to be. The way they're playing this game, the way they're doing, there's no doubt they're going to go 4-down territory here. Again, they're going with the power. Timeout.
And timeout called by Foreman. They're going to talk things over. We're going to step aside with them. 3:41 to play. 14-12 is our score. Dragons by 2 back in 30 on the Dragon Sports Network.
3:41 remaining in the third quarter. Junction City holding a 14-12 lead, but the Gators have crawled out of the water and they're on the move again, striking by land. And Jacob, they are, when I say striking by land, they're living by land, no
That's
doubt.
right.
They are keeping it on the ground, running. I text Coach Carpenter. We were back and forth talking about it. He calls it the old style I. He said they got 3 or more backs in the backfield. We noticed a while ago they put a 4th guy back here. That's definitely the old power, as we called it. If you got 2 backs, yeah, that's definitely the old I. But Foreman has lived with the power. They have kept at least 3 in the backfield, and we've seen 4 at times. And on this third down, Jacob, here we go again.
3:41 to play in the third quarter. Fowler scans the defense. And ball's on the ground and nowhere to go. That's going to be no gain there. Actually, it may give him a yard falling forward. It's going to put Foreman in a 4th down situation in the backfield. That was Holman in the backfield. Fowler lost the snap, and that helps out the Dragons as the Gators are now faced with a 4th down. But like you said, Wayne, it's 4-down territory here for Foreman.
A pivotal 4th down coming up. And, yeah, Jacob, there's no doubt. I mean, the way they have played this game from the get-go, they're going to go for it here. You're not going to play I say field position. They're not really playing field position because punt, Junction City's liable to strike quickly, but they can get a first down here and keep this going. They could chew up more time.
Under 3, they're going to have to snap it quickly, and they got no push unless they're going to keep letting them play. And I believe ball's loose, so they're going to say he was down. But where are they going to give forward progression to? I believe he got the first down.
Got a Clean Team Pro scoreboard report here. Cabot 41, Eldorado 16, 4th quarter. Conway 28, Jonesboro 10.
They do give him a first down, Jacob, but it looked like initially he was stopped. It looked like, but then he did give him credit. He kept them feet going.
Like I said earlier, it almost becomes a tug of war once that initial contact's made by these Foreman running backs. You got the offensive line pushing, dragging defense trying to stand firm. Foreman will reset the chains. Clock's going to move under 2.5 minutes to play here in the third quarter. They had it for 7:19 on their first drive.
Another drop
of the first half, and they're working on just about a 6-minute drive right here.
Yep. And Jacob, once again, the ball was on the ground. I mean, they're having trouble with the exchange.
I got another Clean Team Pro scoreboard report. Stuttgart 36, Warren nothing.
Holy Moses.
Loaded baked potato.
Loaded baked potato.
Clock under 1:45 to play.
Who's buying it?
It won't be me.
Okay.
Gators continuing to eat clock.
That's the best way to put it.
And wrapped up in the backfield, and the ball's on the ground. It's going to be Junction City football, just what they needed. Marks put it on the ground. Johnson forced the fumble, wrapped him up and slung him down, but the ball didn't come with Marks. He left it on the ground. Dragons come away with it, and that's what they needed, Wayne.
Well, let's set the stage right here. Foreman has used 2 timeouts already trying to get something going. They got 1 left. Junction City has all 3. They lead by 2 with 1:32 in the third. This is a huge possession right here.
Dragons have the potential to make it a 2-possession ball game.
Indeed.
And that's going to put a lot of pressure on that Foreman offense. Ivory gets his number called. We've seen a lot more of him out of the backfield tonight. Big game last week for AJ, 9 carries, 130 yards, 2 scores. And he'll get set behind Richard, pistol formation. Hard count, almost got Gator defensive lineman to jump. And stretch run there to Ivory. He's going to have some running room.
Blocks too.
And he's going to pick up a first down.
Yes.
That'll reset the chains. He's up across the 45-yard line. And a good run there from A.J. Ivory on 2nd down and 8. Like you said, Wayne, a pretty good crowd on hand considering the limitations of seating.
Yep.
Like you said, we've got some folks in the north end zone. Several chairs along the south end zone as well.
Got some standing on their vehicle, got tailgates down. A true Friday night in a border town.
That's it. Katie Smith now in the ball game for Ivory. They're going to throw here on 1st and 10. Gilbert's got it, makes one man miss, and DeBow is unable to help out there with a block, so it'll be probably a gain of no yards for Gilbert.
And a slow whistle by the official.
No doubt. He had 6. There were 6 Foreman Gators. Credit Gilbert. They still didn't manage to get him down. They just had him wrapped up. Had him wrapped up pretty good. Should be the final play of the quarter, and it will be. And they're going to give to Smith as the horn sounds. He's going to work the right side. Trucks a man at about the 46-yard line.
Yes.
I tell you what, K.D. Smith, I know he had the fumble there at the end of the first half, but I tell you what, he's a hard runner. And when he hits the hole, he hits the hole.
And sets the Dragons up starting the fourth quarter in great position.
Timeout on the field. 14-12 is our score. The Dragons by 2, but they've got a little momentum offensively. We're going to step aside for 60 seconds, back with the final quarter of play from the border town here on the Dragon Sports Network. They're going to pick up a first down here on the first play. Well, they should pick up a first down. Still waiting to see the official spot. They're going to give them the first down. And so good way to start the fourth quarter of play. Got to reset the chains. Dragons are in Gator territory. The ball officially going to be spotted at the 43-yard line of Foreman. Dragons 14, Gators 12. Foreman had a pretty good drive going, Wayne, but it was a forced fumble by Jamal Johnson. He's caught an interception tonight, and he's forced a fumble. That's giving Junction City the football, and now they are offensively. Ivory gets it on 1st and 10. Good tackle there out there on the edge.
Well, Jacob,
that was Powell.
No doubt a big opportunity here. We mentioned a while ago. They got to keep this going and eat some time and score. And if they can get the 2-point conversion, like you said, they're going to put the Gators in a 2-possession dilemma. And that's going to force them to have to make some considerations on offense.
Throw out to Gilbert. He's got a lot of space out there. Makes one man miss. He's got the first down. He's also got the sideline. 10-5 to the pylon. I don't know if he got in. They're going to say he's inside the 5. Mark him down at the 3. Nicely done. 40 yards. Pitch and catch. I tell you what, when they've been running that screen play all night, and that's what they've been looking for, the big break.
Well, Foreman, and this is a little interesting thing here. Foreman had, I mentioned a while ago, they have a guy on him, but he's about 12 yards off the line of scrimmage. They were bringing a guy down toward him on the line, Jacob, but they had him facing the quarterback. And what happened there, the ball got to Gilbert. All he had to do was make a one-on-one move, and now you got a really big opportunity.
That's a big opportunity for Junction City. 1st and goal from the 3. They give to Johnson, and he's going to lunge for the goal line touchdown. Junction City, 10:44 to play in the fourth quarter. The Dragons make it an 8-point game, and this is a big 2-point try coming up.
Huge.
Potentially make it a 10-point contest, and you're talking about a Foreman Gator team that likes to eat a lot of clock. Now, they have give them credit. They've shown they can score quickly with the touchdown before the half, but it's just not their MO.
Well, you just said it there, and I'll finish it after this play.
2-point try coming. They give to Johnson on the ground, and he is going to be spun into the end zone. 2-point try successful. Timeout on the field. 10:44 to play in this one. Junction City 22, Foreman 12, back in 30 on the Dragon Sports Network. It's been night and day offensively for Junction City. Struggled in the first half, but they found something that's worked so far here in the second half, Wayne. 2 drives, 2 scores. They're up 10 here with 10:44 to play in the fourth quarter.
Well, we talked about it early on, Jacob. If you can get 2 possessions up, maybe early in the game they're not going to change what they're doing, but you get 2 possessions up now here in the fourth quarter. Now what does Foreman do? They can't afford to take a 7.5-minute stroll down the field because Junction City can come back and possibly run the clock out. The reason I say that.
Or score.
Or score.
You know, if it was.
They only got
situation
one
like that.
timeout left. They used 2 early on.
And Fowler, I tell you what, that's a bold move there.
Yeah,
Most
you
people
ain't
like
kidding.
to try to fair catch that. Credit him. He hauls it in. And Foreman will have pretty good field position from their own 44-yard line.
Well, we're going to see what they do now. They still have time to kind of do things their way, but like I said, they can't take like the time they've been taking because they burned 2 timeouts early on. You only got 1 left. The Dragons still hold all 3 of theirs. They also hold a 10-point lead with 10:40 to go.
It'll be interesting to see what the Gators do here offensively. Like you said, they can still stick with kind of, you know, what they've done so far tonight, but there's going to come a time when the clock is not in your favor. It's been in their favor most of the night, but now as we've turned into the fourth quarter, 10:40 to play, Gators trail by 10. They've got good field position here.
Well, you got to throw Katie in the car and punch it hard when you get on I-80, and they're going to have to do that sooner or later.
Yes, they are. They give to Allen right up the middle. I tell you what, he carries a couple bodies with him each time he touches the football. Solid carry there. He inches up up toward midfield.
And the other one, Holman, is that his name? Holman?
Yes, Holman.
Both of them guys, Jacob, I tell you what, I've been impressed with them. They run hard. They're I believe it's Holman you talked about is very shifty. They got a nice little old rushing attack. Their problem, their weakness, I believe, and we've talked about it quite a bit, they are not comfortable throwing the ball.
And Marks is also a good ball carrier. He was the one that fumbled earlier, but he's had some pretty good carries for him tonight as well. Clock's going to move under 10 minutes to play. Second down. We'll call it a long 6 from atop the Emerson Brewer press box. Ball's on the ground, and it's still being kicked around. I think Junction City's going to come away with it. They do. They have it. Junction's got it, and the offense is going to set up shop at the Gator 42. Ball was on the ground. It got kicked around a little bit. I believe Tate Barnett came away with it. With 9:51 and a 10-point lead, Richard and the boys are back out for another offensive drive.
You can finish it here.
I was about to say you can just about
That's it.
put the old fork in him right here if we can find the end zone.
You do that, you tell Keogh to light the barrel.
That's it. That's it. Ten-point lead for the Dragons. Twins set to the bottom of the formation. And they're going to fake to Ivory. They're going for the dagger here right out of the gate. And he's got him, man. That's Gilbert.
Oh,
in and out of his hands.
Oh, man.
In and out of his hands. I tell you what, if he can haul that in, he scores.
Oh.
And he can probably go ahead and order him a chicken strip basket from the concession stand while he's there. I mean, oh, man, Junction City. They're going to have to get that shored up. They were going for the dagger first play from scrimmage. I don't blame them. Go ahead and do it right now.
That's the perfect call. I like what Coach Thompson doing there. I love that. But my goodness gracious, boys, we got to start catching the football.
He had a dance floor's worth of steps on his man. Now Ivory's got it on 1st and 10.
Oh,
he's going to stumble forward and get near the 30-yard line. So a good run there from A.J. Ivory. Oh, man.
Sets up the third down. You got a good short situation to work with.
Actually, they're gonna reset the chains. First down.
He got it. Okay.
Got it.
Okay.
Yeah,
they gave him the progress.
They gave him that progress.
Because I thought his
end.
knee hit before he got there.
I believe he was able to get his wrist down to kind of lunge forward a little more. Good headsy play there from Ivory. Smith will spell him in the backfield. He'll get the call here. Excuse me, that's Smith. Smith gets a block out there on the edge. Spins in between two guys. Nice move there. Welcome to the purple zone, K.D. Smith and Junction City. I tell you what, he's coming on strong here the last 2 weeks. He's been impressive to watch. That's a big run right there. Now the Dragons find themselves inside the purple zone. Clock's going to go under 9:20 to play. They're trying to find the end zone, Wayne, and they're going to give to Smith again. Good block there from Bryant.
He's down near the 5. Jacob, where's these guys been? Man,
I don't know, but
I'm glad they showed up.
They showed up here at the tail end of things. Clock's going to move under 9 minutes. I tell you what, as long as that clock keeps ticking, definitely does not help the Gators any. And they're going to give to Smith, and he's going to get inside the 5. Keeps his feet moving. I think they're going to mark him at the 3. I'm Junction City, they're going to try to score quickly here, but they could have definitely taken some more time off. KD Smith spins inside. He's going to get down to the 2. And so now it's going to be, I believe, 3rd and goal, Wayne, here. The clock's under 8.5 to play.
Nope, he got
First and goal for the Dragons.
first.
Oh, he actually got a first down. That's right.
That's what I say. They still can get a first down, and he got it there. That's what they're trying to do. Now, Jacob, what you said a while ago, let's do it. Eat you some time. Take your time punching at them.
Eating clock or scoring. And if you do both of them, that's a bonus. They're going to give to Jamal Johnson. He's going to plow forward. He might have, again, a little bit of a tug-of-war there once they got to the next level. They're going to blow it dead as he gets down around the 1-yard line. Clock's under 8 minutes to play. 22-12 is our score. Dragons by 10. They're looking for more.
No huddle. They're coming right back to the line.
Two backs near Richard. They give the Johnson. Touchdown, Junction City. Touchdown, Dragons. 28-12. It's a 16-point game. And you got to think if they can get the 2 points here, Wayne, that's a 3-possession ball game with under 8 to play against a team that likes to keep it on the ground.
Absolutely.
You like your chances.
I like them. If you can get this here, you pretty well did what you set out to do. Take control of the game.
And they're going to throw.
He's got him.
And caught by Gilbert. Nicely done. Near the back line of the end zone, Gilbert hauls it in. And it is 30-12, an 18-point advantage for the Dragons. Timeout on the field, 7:40 to play here in this one. We're back in 30 on the Dragon Sports Network.
Good Lord, they didn't waste no time now. I figured they.
Last time they could have taken 2 breaks.
We got a Clean Team Pros update on the scoreboard. Fordyce 62, Camden Harmony Grove 13, Desart 52, Barton 18, Stuttgart 36, Warren 0. That is all finals.
Whoa.
Man.
Clean Team Pro Wash scoreboard update. Thank you there, X-Cat. Jacob, that dang Fordyce score, that'd make a man double chug an RC. Goodness gracious.
You ain't lying. Man.
Well, we got 3 weeks, 4 weeks before we have to face them.
Yeah, 2 of which they won't be playing, so.
Yeah. Get everybody healthy and back. And Smith said, hey, he welcomed the 2 byes. You know, kind of get everything kind of sorted out.
Certainly.
With England in the middle.
Fortunately, we don't have to cross the pond to play that one.
Hey, amen.
7:40 to play. They're going to get back in the power right. Going to give to Allen. Oh, big contact there. That was Cam Torrance. Tell you what. Torrance is one of those hard hat, lunch pail kind of guys.
Yes, he
especially
is.
on the defensive side of the football.
And, you know, going into the season, Coach Smith had talked about, you know, the linebacking core, it's going to be a strength. You got 3 solid ones. And, of course, the problem's been between COVID and injuries. But they about got them all hopefully lined up. Well, I believe one of the Barnetts was in concussion protocol, but he should be back. So they get them all back. That defense will really be looking good.
Clock's under 7. And they're going to give to Allen. I tell you what, they're running hard. They're getting 5 or 6 at a pop, it seems like. Definitely staying within their offense. It's working to their advantage, but the thing is they're down 18 and time's not in their favor.
And, you know, they have a new coach. Coach King went to Magnolia, where he's head coach now. And he got Foreman rolling good, and like we said, he'll get Magnolia rolling good.
Well, this is a team that's coming off an 11-1 season. They went unbeaten in the regular season, won their opener in the playoffs, and then were defeated in the second round. This is a team that's coming off an 11-1 campaign, but they did lose. They lost several All-State performers and a couple of All-Conference guys as well. And on 3rd and 2, nowhere going, actually going to probably lose a yard, so it'll force the Gators into a 4th down as the clock nears the 6-minute mark here in the 4th quarter.
Well, what I'm getting at is it looks like they would start working. I mean, you're going to face a point, and they're facing it right now. You got to throw the ball. And when we played them in the semifinals, like I said, Coach King had Foreman rolling. They won a state title, but when we got ahead of them pretty good in the second half, they never went to the air. They stayed with what they've been doing. They did get another touchdown, but, I mean, it's kind of redundant.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I mean, obviously it was a Kyron Beatty-led team. They wanted to see what, they always wanted to feed him as much as they could. They pick up the first down. That'll reset the chains. But even though they're keeping it on the ground, they're still letting time expire while they're at the line of scrimmage. It's one thing to continue to run the ball. It's another thing to continue to let that time slip away. They may just be content with trying to get this one over with now that it's a 3-possession football game.
Right, because the clock was wound at 5:30. All right, instead of being on the ball ready to go, they've let 10 seconds, 11, 12, almost 15 seconds. They're not in a hurry at all.
1st and 10, ball at the 43-yard line of Junction City. The Dragons have come alive in the second half. It was the second quarter that was the difference for Junction City last week at Smackover. They scored 31 points in that quarter. And then here in this one, it's been the second half. There's going to be a hold
against the
Dragons. And they're going to, 3 officials trying to stop the clock.
Well, and the other thing, one of the officials, he was getting ready to mark it off, but he was fixing to mark it off against Foreman. Now they get it situated.
Finally, that'll put the football at the 25-yard line. 4:48 to play here in the 4th quarter. Junction City 30.
Clock man not paying attention. He's going to signal for the clock to start.
First and 10, 18-point game. And immediate pressure there by the Dragon defensive front.
Junction City doing a little substituting on the line, Jacob, running some more beef in there.
Under 4.5 to play. I tell you what, this one may be around 4 minutes before they snap the football again. Really not much urgency out of Foreman here, just hoping to run this one down as much as they can before either scoring or giving the football back to Junction City. Definitely in 4-down territory now. 2nd down and 12.
They're going to have to call a timeout.
And they're going to call a timeout with 4:04 to play.
Play
in
clock
the 4th quarter. Final timeout burned by Foreman. We'll step aside for 30 seconds. Back with more action here on the Dragon Sports Network.
.404 remaining in the game. Junction City 30, Foreman 12. Dragons, the second half belonged to them, and they took advantage of it and now control it with an 18-point lead. Foreman right now facing a 2nd and 12, but like we've talked about earlier, they've shown no urgency in trying to score or trying to get the ball down the field quickly. They kind of stay with their offense, which has worked to the Dragons' advantage, Jacob. As we look at the clock, I mean, this drive started with around 7 minutes left, I think, and now they're closing on the 4 minute mark.
It was more than that.
Was it more than that?
But around 8.5.
8.5. And again, there's a little pludge up the middle here, and that's it.
May have gotten back to the original line
Yeah.
of scrimmage. Be interesting to see where the spot's at. Clock reads 3:51 and ticking.
We talked about September 11th being the date the Dragons opened what was then known as Dragon Stadium in 1987. And things stay like they are, and it appears they will. It will be the 160th victory.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, that is something to be impressed with. That's an average of almost 5 home wins a season.
Definitely been treated to a lot of good football here at the Muse.
Indeed. We have a flag down. Well, and one thing, when I was looking at it, most years you average about 4 home games a season. So you do the math and you say, well, they played 132 games on average. You got to remember, we spent many a November and some December Fridays right here watching playoff games.
Yeah, we did.
And
A lot of good memories.
that's how you end up with a 78% winning percentage over 33 years. 78%. That is impressive. They have, the Dragons have well done when it comes to protecting the Muse. And
Out of
again,
the timeout, final timeout.
yeah, that was it.
And nowhere to go there on 3rd and long. And it's going to be a 4. That was Kemp, the ball carrier. The clock's going to move under 3 minutes to play. Going to be a 4th down here. You got to think if Junction City can get Foreman off the field, it'll be a couple of snaps, and this one will be in the books.
Yep. Foreman out of timeouts, facing a 4th and 16.
You know, when we'd be remiss if we didn't mention that, 19 years ago today, the tragic events that occurred really sent shockwaves throughout the nation. It's one of those things you'll never forget where you were or what you were doing when you found out the news. Flag on the play, and I believe it's going to be a false start.
Yep. Well, I can remember that morning very well. I turned on TV and I was flipping channels, and I come across the BBC, the British Broadcasting Company, and they were showing one of the World Trade Centers, and there's this big black hole in it. And I couldn't help but think, how in the world did you not see that building? You know, you're in a plane,
Sure.
not having
Sure.
no idea.
Yeah.
And before I could get that thought out of my mind, the second plane hit. And Junction City going to take a timeout. Jacob, we'll just keep it here.
We'll keep it here, yeah.
Just keep it
Keep
here.
it here.
And I'm like this, my personal feeling, never forget it. Never.
I'm a history guy. I enjoy. Obviously, I got that from you.
Yeah.
Love here. So anytime it's September 11th, I always try to pull up some, whether it's old images or maybe even some feature stories written throughout the years, talking about maybe some survival stories or those that heroically lost their life. When you look at those pictures of the firefighters on a street level, and they're looking up at one of the buildings with the hole and the smoke coming out, and you just think to yourself, what's going through their mind at that moment, knowing that I'm about to have to go up, I'm about to have to go into this building and try to get as many people out as I can, and it may cost me my life, but yet they still went and done it. That right there.
I never read one thing, Jake, about a fireman or a policeman hesitating to go in there, but something that I heard that really resonated with me was, what's the definition of a hero? And the answer is, the definition of a hero is when all the world is running downstairs and you're going upstairs.
You're heading up it, yes, sir.
Nothing but the uttermost respect for the New York Fire Department and the New York Police Department. They showed what they were made of that day, and my hat's off to them.
And, folks, if you get a chance, as Foreman faces a 4th down and long here with 2:25 to play in the ball game, they're going to pitch it out, and that's going to be Kemp. He's actually going to get pretty good running room there for momentarily. That'll force a turnover on downs. Junction City will take over. here with just a couple more moments left in this one. If you get a chance, get some free time, Google Bill Curry and, maybe September 11th or the huddle. And it's a 3 or 4 minute video worth watching.
Yes.
I think if the country could find a way to get back to that moment or get back to the moments that followed September 11th, 2001,
we'd be a lot better.
we'd be a lot better off than I think we are right now.
And let me say this: we're not talking politics here.
No,
I don't
this
want
is
nobody to think, well, now here goes the DSN. No, we're not. We're just sharing our memories and our
This
thoughts.
has to do with all the innocent lives
Right.
lost
And that's
19
what we
years
mean.
ago today.
Yep.
1st and 10 for Junction City. Ivory's got it. I tell you what, he's running hard.
He's
the
got-
big fella, he's going to move across the 40-yard line.
And reset the chains.
He will reset the chains. Stop momentarily with 2:09 to play in this one. Tell you what, Wayne, this one got turned on its head, so to speak. Junction City came out of the halftime break. We're kind of thinking, you know what, they're going to, we're not going to say they have to, but they really, really need to score here on this first drive. A couple of big plays later, a couple of turnovers, a couple of momentum shifts, and it's an 18-point advantage for the good guys.
And Junction City will improve to 5-0 in this series. It began in 1979. Dragons have won every one of them, and of course take this one tonight as the clock goes toward 1:40.
They give to KD Smith, bounces around along the left side in the backfield. Still on his feet, running hard is Smith. And I tell you what, he's going to get 3 yards when he should have lost 3.
You're absolutely right. And Jacob, let me say this while it's on my mind now. Folks, I'm going to go ahead, Denton, I'm going to go ahead and let you know. We're going to go ahead and go into our Terminex post-game show. I know there's still about a minute or so left, but let's go ahead and start that up. Terminex, big shout-out to Donald Kalk for helping us with the advertisement sponsorship of Terminex. And Jacob, as I just heard in my headphones, we need to do a player of the game. And that's that's not going to be so easy.
It's not going to be easy when you look at it offensively. As Wishard takes the snap, he's going to give to Smith, picking up a lot of key yards late here. I mean, the guy that comes to mind, Devontae Gilbert, 6 catches, 105 yards, he averaged 17.5 a pop, and also had the big touchdown along the far sideline that really got this thing going for Junction here in the second half.
That would be a good choice for me.
Yeah, I would think so.
Let's go with Gilbert.
Jason Hardy, State Farm Player of the Game, Devontae Gilbert, 6 catches, 105 yards, and a touchdown. Of course, no bigger catch than the touchdown here in the second half that helped basically put Junction City out front, and they did not look back as we're in the final 20 seconds. I believe it's going to be the best position in football.
Yes.
Pistol snap. They're going to take a knee, and that's going to do it.
Stick a fork in her, boys. She's done.
Final 5 seconds to tick off the clock. A couple of the players shaking each other's hands, and that'll do it. Final from Paul H. Muse Field at David Carpenter Stadium. Class 2A number 3, Junction City 30. Class 2A number 12, Foreman 12. 18-point win for the Dragons, Wayne. They improved to 2-1 on the season. Like you said, they got a bye week next week. After that, they go to England. Bye week the week after. And then I think it's the one that everybody's been waiting on.
Oh, yeah. All of Dallas County will be here. Well, Jacob, the second half is what Brad Smith wanted to see. That's safe to say. He probably wasn't too thrilled with the first half, but his team has shown what they're capable of by the way they played the second half. The defense really stepped it up even more. Offense really started clicking. And I want to talk about the offense. Let me get this in right here. We got the running attack. There's no doubt between Smith, Johnson, and, of course, Ivory is the main go-to, it looks like. Richard's got the arm to throw. If we can get the receiving core rolling, I don't think you can stop this offense. Because you cannot cover, as our player of the game is Devontae Gilbert, you can't cover Gilbert one-on-one and think that's going to work. It won't. Frazier, DeBow, if we can get them guys in sync. And let me say this about Frazier. This is his first year of football. It's the first time he's played.
And DeBo's a sophomore.
Yes, DeVoe's a sophomore. So it's not like, they're not doing what they're supposed to do. No, you're looking at two guys that's got to get some coaching and got to get work,
yeah, for
get
sure.
some experience going. But if they can get the receiving core going, And then let's jump to the other side of the ball. The defense starts coming on around. You get everybody back and all the COVID issues taken care of. This team has got a chance to go a long, long ways, possibly even get us a fourth trip back to the Rock. Now, that's way down the road, but I'm just saying the potential in my eyes is there.
You got to build on it each and every week, like you were saying.
Like,
I think one of the things that's kind of been maybe understated, I guess, if that's the right word, from the standpoint of not talked about as much, is the Dragon defense from the standpoint of turning over the football. They've done a really good. I mean, they turned them over twice in the first half. Offensively, could not find a way to punch it in. But then they had the big turnover there, in the second half that ended up resulting in points. So I mean, the way that they're being able to turn over these opposing offenses, if they can keep that up, they're going to like where they're going to be headed late in the season.
Yes, I mean that's one characteristic they have already shown, and I really like seeing that when you got a playmaking opportunity defense coming up with turnovers like that. And let me go back again. The Dragons get that receiving core going because, like I said, Frazier and DeBow, if you can get them going, and both of them got stuff to learn because, like I said, Cam's first year, DeBow, as you mentioned, a sophomore. You get them with Gilbert, then you have to respect. And we saw Foreman do that in the second half. They had a man on Gilbert, but he's 12 yards off the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
But they were bringing another secondary personnel down the line facing the quarterback because they were worried about the pop pass. When you got them worried about the pop pass, and then you can get DeBow and Frazier going, you got a lot of real estate to cover. Century 21 can't cover that real estate. You get the defense spread out, and then a running attack like we got with the kind of like a running back by committee.
Yeah.
There's possibilities that are endless. And hats off to Coach Thompson with the offense and all the coaching staff, for that matter, but especially Coach Smith. His approach to this whole thing, we're 2-1. And we talked with Darryl Corn up here after the Harmony Grove game. We all said the same thing. I'm not down that we lost. I'm excited. Our sophomore group showed what they're capable of doing in a situation they wasn't prepared for because they wasn't supposed to be playing that much. But we had opportunities to win that game. And I know we talked about the Fordyce score and like, oh, man, Fordyce really put it on Harmony Grove. That don't concern me. I mean, we kind of joked about it. It don't me either because I'm going to tell you something. You're giving Brad Smith 3 weeks to get ready. It's going to be a heck of a night, October 9th here in the border town.
Yeah,
I
make plans now.
Because I know, wait a minute, y'all got England. You got England to play. Yes, we do. But it's a non-conference game. As Smith calls them, it's a pride game. Yes, you want to win it. We're not going up there just half-heartedly. You want to win it. But you're going to use, I guarantee they're going to use this time to prep for the Fordyce game.
Yeah, because you can go up there and you can win at England. You can lose at England. Regardless, there's no hardware being given out after that game.
No, they will not give out hardware.
Granted, when you roll down back to the border town, like you said, October 9th, obviously there's going to be some.
Well, let's be honest, Jacob, about it. Everybody knows, and we're not kidding ourselves, as you see the team, they were celebrating there on the field. One of the TV stations, I'm not sure if it's one out of Shreveport or whatever, wanting them to do a little cheer there. October 9th is going to be the determining factor on who's going to have the 1 seed in the playoffs, conference championship. We all know that. Yeah. I mean, I'm not dishing anybody or anything, but everyone knows the 2 big dogs are going to fight it out that night.
And it's not about necessarily, dissing on any other team, but until another team wants to put themselves in the conversation, it's going to be between Junction City and Fordyce.
Absolutely.
It's going to be decided either in Union County or Dallas County, and that's like you said, there's no knock against any other 8-2A opponent.
Nobody.
But until another one of the 8-2A opponents, like I said, wants to enter the conversation or enter the chat, as they like to say this day and age, it's going to be decided when the Bread Bugs and the Dragons square off on the gridiron.
Now let's do this as as everyone is listening to us here on the Terminix post-game show. Jacob, let's look at overall AA. We saw Foreman tonight, and we went in. You heard me say this before the Harmony Grove game. 4 teams you got to look at: Foreman, Gurdon, Dragons, and the Red Bucks. We saw Foreman tonight. You saw what they're capable of doing, but there's some issues because they've lost a lot of good players. These boys played hard. my hat's off to the Gators. But right now, if you look at me and say, okay, Wayne, who's in the driver's seat? I got to go with the Garden Go Devils.
I would agree. Yeah, I mean, obviously, Threadgill's off to another great start to a season. Definitely an all-state type performer. Was all-state last year. Definitely could potentially fill that role this year. He's off to a really good start. But I'm kind of along the lines of, we've been in this position before where, it's ours until it isn't, if that makes sense. I think in the driver's seat, it's Fordyce.
Yeah.
Fordyce is in the driver's seat because until somebody can knock them off the throne, so to speak, they're the ones out front. Obviously, that's no knock against Gurdon whatsoever.
No.
But when the final horn sounded of the 19 season, Fordyce is the one that had the hardware. Obviously, you can argue and say, well, they lost this or they lost that. They didn't lose that much.
Oh, no.
They did not lose that much. So I'd say, I mean, if you're going to hold me to it, I'd say it may be 1A, 1B, Fordyce Gurdon.
Yeah, I agree with that. I like the reason I'm looking at the Go Devils. They got the one thing that's a really big help, and that's the hunger. They are hungry for it. They have been, we've talked about it for several years. You go back to 2013. Gurdon's got a good team. Well, hey, we had a battle here with them, if you remember, in the rain. The first year we did the DSN, because I remember we were in the crane and they lifted us up and it rained like crazy, but we had to show that game. It was a battle. We pulled away and won it. But they have been right there on that edge, right there on that edge. It just never happened. And I don't know why, but this year, this could be their year. Now you're going, wait a minute, you're dismissing Junction City? No, I'm not. I don't dismiss us till we get dismissed.
That's it.
And that's the way I look at it. I say we're still in the hunt. But if you ask me right now, it's a 3-team race, and we're in third.
That's it.
And, you go from there. Still a lot of football, hopefully, to play.
Oh, hopefully so.
All that good stuff. Final thoughts, Jacob. Go with it.
You know what? I think, like I said, first 3 weeks of the season, you look at this Camden Harmony Grove game where it could have went either way. You had a lot of sophomores out there late in the game. They got a lot of good experience that hopefully they're able to use as the season progresses. Big win last week against a Union County foe. Those two teams been clashing for a while. I think it was the 45th meeting.
Yes, 45th.
Junction City looked very dominant in the first half, especially in that second quarter. They really turned it on and put it to the Buckaroos. And then a big win tonight. Like I said, they come out of the half, and, we're kind of looking around up here going, we don't want to say they have to score here on the first drive, but
yeah,
they need to. And then like I said, a couple big plays later, a couple big defensive stops, and it's an 18-point advantage for Junction City. So based on the type of year it is, I mean, obviously we're in the middle of a global pandemic, and it's there's just a whole bunch of unknown, different ways we're having to approach things. To be 2-1 at this point in the season, knowing that you're going to get a chance to rest some players, get some guys back, maybe work on some things that you've been wanting to do the first couple of weeks with that extra time. You get ready for an England team in 2 weeks, and then you get another chance to catch your breath, and then you can kind of say that's the back half of the schedule where it really gets interesting for Junction City. So if you're head coach Brad Smith, you got to like where your Dragons are at. And,
hats off to, again, I said this before, let me say it again, hats off to Smith and his staff. Job well done so far, especially what all they faced, decisions that had to be made concerning COVID, all of that. I said this earlier in the day talking to, I believe it was talking with Darryl Holliday about I wouldn't want to be a coach or an administrator right now. It's a rough thing to deal with. But
it's a tough enough job in any normal year.
And then to have this on top of it. Again, a big shout-out to all of our sponsors. You saw us scrolling them. Terminex for the post-game show here. And, of course, for Clean Harbors on the game night. We've been talking to you from the El Dorado Chemical broadcast booth. We're fixing to shut it down. Folks, be safe these next 2 weeks. Take care of each other. And we will see you not in London, England, but in England, Arkansas on September the 25th. For Wayne Pumphrey, for Jacob Pumphrey, and for Denton Ashcraft, y'all have a great weekend. We'll see you on the flip side.
The following is a presentation of the Dragon Sports Network.